And welcome to Cougar Stadium here in New Braunfels. It is the final non-district game of the season as the 0-2 Canyon Cougars host the 1-1 Dripping Springs Tigers. On the Cougars Network, I'm Brant Freeman, joined by Tony Brubaker. And Tony, Canyon has gotten out to a tough start this season. 2 heartbreakers to open the 2019 year. A loss at home to Lehman, followed by a tough 6-point loss last week against Georgetown Eastview.
And they're just looking for some success. This is a program that is an uphill climb, and they know that they don't want this streak to continue of losing football games, and this is a chance tonight at home, a homecoming atmosphere, and they want to get a win more than anything. And Dripping Springs is a program that comes in with success in its history, but it's not right now. And this is a game that I think the team that comes out with the bigger punch at the start of the game has a chance to sustain and have a victory.
Coming up, we'll talk more about these two teams. Again, the Cougars looking for their first win of the year, and the Tigers trying to avoid losing back-to-back games themselves. It is the Tigers, it is the Cougars, it is coming up next on the Cougars Network. We're back in a moment.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
And welcome back to Cougar Stadium again tonight. Canyon try to pick up his first win of the 2019 year. Look back at the first 2 games for Canyon and the home opener, which also served as the 2019 opener. The Cougars lost to Lehman in a heartbreaker 24-21. And then last week on the road, it fell to Georgetown Eastview 41-35. In that game, Canyon was down 41-14 late in the third quarter, but again, they were able to make a game of it, scoring 21 unanswered points, but ultimately could not come up with enough plays. And Tony, it was just too many mistakes for the Cougars to overcome. 4 turnovers committed last week and 16 penalties. Tough to win that way.
And we know as a talent stack, this isn't a program that can do that. They've got to be able to stay not mistake-free, but limit their turnovers, because they don't have enough talent to overcome that much, especially penalties. And that is what you talk about, just fundamental stuff that they have to get better at.
Now, looking at Dripping Springs, and the Tigers have played a couple of nail-biters this year. They won the opener over Kerrville-Tybee 14-13, but last week, Dripping Springs lost by a point against Hayes 22-21, and that was a game that the Tigers had 21-10 going into the fourth quarter, so they too are looking for some redemption here tonight.
They had a tough one. They talking with one of their assistant coaches earlier, this was a game that they had hoped to be 2-0 after it, and they're running through the second half, and the whole first half they have offensive success, the whole second half they have none, and they couldn't fight them off enough at the end and even get 1 or 2 extra points to overcome that one, and really frustrated as a coaching staff.
You look at the go-to players in this game, and for the Tigers, quarterback Preston Alford, the sophomore, so far has accounted for all 4 offensive touchdowns the Tigers have scored this season, has 235 yards rushing as well. He's been the player with the ball in his hands and has been making plays for Dripping Springs all season long.
And you just wonder who's going to help him out. Curtis Cox, the running back, has been able to run the ball with some success, but the receivers, their ability to throw the ball has been limited, and I think that's one reason their offense can get stagnant. If someone stacks the defensive line on you, it's hard to run the ball.
And Tony, meanwhile for Canyon, Savion Jarrett, the senior tailback, a big game last week against the Patriots, 11 carries, 128 yards, and a score. It'd be nice for Canyon to establish the ground game to make the passing game open up.
And they've got to be able to throw and catch the ball, and that's where I know this coaching staff is working tirelessly to do. They have to be able to throw the ball with some kind of success for for their offense to really be able to generate the kind of yardage they want it to generate.
Kickoff between the Cougars and Tigers is coming up next on the Cougars Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
The all-new Nissan New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express. Do you know what's perfect? Wick Productions teaming up with the Canyon Cougars. No kidding! We take pause when we hear you cheer for replays on the scoreboard. And we love the feline we get when you visit CougarsNetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Meow. Isn't that right? What? Cat got your tongue? Mew it.
There's something watching me.
These kids have a gift that they can't control.
I'm just really scared.
Now, former psychic kids are back to help.
The entities that you see, you're in charge.
What was that?
Psychic Kids, Wednesdays at 10 on A&E.
Watch A&E, GVTC, Channel 558.
I feel my body dying.
Its teeth were clenched around my arm.
I felt like a rag doll.
It looked like a scene from Jaws.
It was a pretty rough trip.
She was eating me alive.
Watch Animal Planet, GVTC, Channel 552.
Where Zach. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. You've got to see this place.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express. Do you know what's perfect? Wick Productions teaming up with the Canyon Cougars. No kidding! We take pause when we hear you cheer for replays on the scoreboard. And we love the feline we get when you visit CougarsNetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Meow. Isn't that right? What? Cat got your tongue? I mew it.
There's something watching me.
These kids have a gift that they can't control.
I'm just really scared.
Now, former psychic kids are back to help.
The entities that you see, you're in charge.
What was that?
Psychic Kids, Wednesdays at 10 on A&E.
Watch A&E, GVTC, Channel 558.
I feel my body dying.
Its teeth were clenched around my arm.
I felt like a rag doll.
It looked like a scene from Jaws.
It was a pretty rough trip.
She was eating me alive.
Watch Animal Planet, GVTC, Channel 552.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
And welcome back to Cougar Stadium, about ready for kickoff here between Canyon and Dripping Springs. We saw the coin toss moments ago. The Tigers won it and have elected to defer, so Tony will see Canyon's offense out there first.
It'll be interesting to see the quarterback, the running backs, the receivers, how in sync they can be right off the start, Brant. We've talked about it throughout the pregame. It's really up to them to establish some kind of game, both in the air and on the ground, to make the offense really do what it's supposed to do to have success.
Now, last week, starting quarterback Dallas Gomez threw for nearly 200 yards against the Patriots, but was 15 of 37 passing. Did throw 3 touchdowns, but also threw 3 interceptions. Back deep for the Cougars, Jack Luce, along with Savion Jarrett, explosive playmaker, the senior for the Cougars. All right, let's see if the Tigers give them any chance to return here as we start the game. Kicking duties belong to Desi De La Cruz, senior kicker for Dripping Springs, a Tiger team which a year ago was 8-3, going 6-1 in the 12-5A district, earning a share of the district title. And like the Cougars, next week the Tigers start district play. Their opener will come against Austin Travis next Friday. Kick by De La Cruz, are underway. Fielded by an up man short of the 30-yard line. And up to the 38 goes Canyon's Micah Williford, one of the tailbacks in this Canyon offense. And Tony, there was some word going around that Michael Bassett might get the starter quarterback tonight for the Cougars. We see both Bassett and Gomez come out to start the formation here. And let's see who takes his first snap from center.
Let's talk about the wind tonight, too. The Cougars with the wind here in the first quarter. It is substantial, as we noticed the kickoff didn't go very far because of the wind.
And it will be Gomez in at quarterback. From his zone 39 on first down, it's a running play for the Cougars. And Jarrett's got some space off the edge to the 45-yard line for 6. A good first down play for Canyon.
Right away, the safeties come up for the tackle. That one's Garrett Betts, the junior safety. This is a defense for Dripping Springs that you see tackles in different places. Linebackers and safeties and corners with most of their tackles. Where's the defensive line? You know, why aren't they making plays?
Last week, the Tigers allowed the Hayes Rebels to run for 223 yards in a 22-21 loss last Friday. On 2nd and 4, Gomez to the air. And looking for far, it is overthrown and incomplete. Was well covered by Garrett Betts, the junior. Sets up 3rd down and 4.
Kind of a throw without a read. Double coverage with a safety over the top there. It was not a throw that had any chance of success. And it wasn't very close, but it seemed like it was covered very well, and he stopped and took the snap and threw right away there.
Farr is by far the biggest receiving threat for Canyon. Had a big game against the Tigers last year. 2 catches in the game, one an 80-yard touchdown, the other a 60-yard score. 3rd and 4 from their own 45. Gomez with 3 wide. Is going to hand it off to Jarrett. He's got a lot of room up the middle, inside the 30-yard line. One man to beat, and he is gone. Savion Jarrett, 55 yards for Canyon touchdown.
It is funny because I'm watching the defensive backs pressure the receivers, and I'm watching how the linebackers are aiming out wide, the hole up the middle for Jarrett, which is unbelievable to have that kind of success on the opening drive.
So a 3-play drive for Canyon. It took 1 minute and 2 seconds, and it was all Savion Jarrett. And the PAT is good as well, off the foot of Cameron Welch, and the Cougars strike first on top of the Tigers, 7-0 on the Cougars Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
The Canyon Cougars last week did not lead in their loss against Georgetown Eastview in a 41-35 defeat, but they lead Dripping Springs tonight. 1:02 off the clock, 10:58 to go in the first quarter, and on top early, 7-0.
And if you're a Cougar fan, you have to be really excited that your team, which has scored some points this year but hasn't looked explosive, gets one right off the bat, a home run touchdown rush of 55 yards, and all of a sudden you have to be excited for what your offense can do.
Again, Savion Jarrett, a 55-yard touchdown run, his second rushing touchdown of the season, and that is the first touchdown that Dripping Springs has allowed in the first quarter this season.
11.6 yards per carry for Jarrett coming into the game. That's not going to do anything but get better.
And here is the ensuing kickoff from Welch into the end zone and take it out by the return man. Out across the 10 to the 15, angling left to the 20, and a nice tackle made to the 30-yard line. Following a really good return there for the Tigers, courtesy of Austin Hewlin. And now we see Dripping Springs' offense come out for the first time, led by sophomore quarterback Preston Alford.
And this is a Canyon defense that's really going to have to rally to the ball tonight and just get there in a hurry. You know, when they used to talk at Texas State about party at the pile, and I'm sure a lot of teams have, but this is a defense that has enough speed that they're going to have to go full tilt toward the ball on all occasions and just gang tackle what could be a very good running attack for Dripping Springs.
2 games this season, the Tigers offensively have only scored 35 points. The previous 3 seasons, they've averaged more than 43 points per game. Some growing pains early part of the year for fifth-year head coach Galen Zimmerman. First down running play across the 30s. A flag flies in. It's good for a couple of yards for the Tigers, but it might be coming back. Alford, the quarterback keeper, on that play.
Really hard to see what could have happened unless somebody, and we're still waiting for the call, but maybe a hold on the edge or something. But he just took the snap and just put his head down and ran into the pile, which the defensive line had created a line there.
And our head official says it is an illegal formation against the Tigers. The Canyon Cougars will accept and make it 1st and 15. Again, penalties told a really big story for the Cougars last week in the loss to the Patriots. 16 of them for 120 yards. This one goes in their favor. It looked like our head official, by the way, gave that illegal procedure call about 4 times over.
I think he was signaling to the bench at first, trying to get whether or not they were going to accept it. And then you're right. He gave that signal many times more than he should have.
Alford has struggled as a passer this year, 8 of 20 passing. His first pass, though, here is caught across the 35, across the 40, still running and down to midfield. P.J. Howell had just 1 catch last week for 5 yards against the Rebels. This one is good for 30 and a first down for the Tigers.
Unbelievable how just a nice little crossing route, if you will, and he found space to get out in the open and got good yardage.
Big shoes to fill for Alford, the quarterback last year for the Tigers. Tanner Pruitt had over 2,000 yards passing in an 11-game season, 24 touchdowns against only 4 picks. Alford has been primarily a running quarterback so far this year. And after the end of the play, a personal foul called against Canyon. Well, and we're just talking about the penalty issues for the Cougars last week, Tony. Not a good tone setter for Canyon's defense.
Well, you hate to see that because it's 15 yards added on to what was already a big gain, basically into your territory. And now they're clear down to your 35.
Moments ago, it was 1st and 15 from the Tiger 20, and now it's 1st and 10 from the Canyon 35. Here's Alford, the sophomore quarterback. On play action, it is a low throw in the turf and incomplete. Looking for Cameron O'Bannon. Had a big touchdown against the Cougars last year, a 62-yard touchdown reception of the 4th quarter a year ago. What was a come-from-behind win for the Tigers. Canyon led that game 41-28 going into the 4th quarter. The Tigers scored 14 and answered in the 4th to win it.
And good pressure that time from defensive end Joey Destrada. Forced a bad pass.
On 2nd down and 10. Big running play for Cox as a flag flies in. Cox with a bulldoze of a move of a Canyon defender just shy of the 10 and is tackled inside the 5. But this might be coming back. Saw a flag fly in right around the 20-yard line. That was Curtis Cox in the carry. If the play stands, it's good for 30 yards. Again, Cox, a ball carrier, 2nd team All-District a year ago. And here is the call. They're picking up the flag. So it goes as a 30-yard run there for Cox.
I didn't see a hold on the edge. I don't know what the flag was thrown for, but it looks to me like we've got some inexperienced officials here tonight. They're doing a lot of talking instead of making decisions. That one was way too much of a conversation for a flag to be picked up.
2 minutes gone by, 1st quarter, 7-0 Canyon, but that lead is in jeopardy. First to go for the 5. Running play, Cox sifting through defenders, lowers his head, twisting towards the goal line is short as another flag flies in from behind the play. I think this one might stand.
The head linesman threw this one, and now he's going to come back and expect it. The ball's on the 5-yard line. He's got the flag clear out at the 18. Kind of curious of what was happening there. Oh, maybe this is a sideline warning. We already warned the sideline. They already warned the sideline once. Maybe this time the sideline got outside of the box, and that's why the flag.
It is a delay of game against Canyon. But again, that play was stopped inside the 1, so the Tigers don't really gain a whole lot off of it. And now goal to go. 2nd and goal. A half-yard away.
Curtis Cox looks like he can really run the ball. Run a couple with quite a bit of authority here so far.
Averaged more than 8 yards a carry last week against Hayes. 2nd and goal. It is a high snap to Alford. Keeps it himself, though, and barrels into the end zone for the touchdown. So how about that? The Tigers now have 5 offensive touchdowns this year, all scored by Preston Alford, the quarterback, on the ground.
It is amazing that when they get to the goal line, that's who they look for. And he makes the decision to call his own number.
This game is barely 2 minutes old. We have 2 touchdowns.
Whoa.
The PAT, though, bangs off the left upright, and it is no good off the foot of Coleman Chapman. His first extra point missed this season. So the Cougars remain in front 7-6, 9:41 to go in the first quarter on the Cougars Network.
Do you know what's perfect? Wick Productions teaming up with the Canyon Cougars. No kidding. We take pause when we hear you cheer for replays on the scoreboard. And we love the feline we get when you visit CougarsNetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Meow. Isn't that right? What? Cat got your tongue? I mew it.
Two possessions, 2 touchdowns. So far tonight, 1 for each team. Canyonville has a lead, 7-6, 9:41 to go in the first. It was a 1-yard touchdown run by Preston Alford, the sophomore quarterback for Dripping Springs. Extra point, though, by Coleman Chapman, no good. And Canyon's offense will take the field here following the kickoff.
Be interesting to see now that your defense has given up a touchdown quickly as well, whether your offense can answer again and continue to be dominant on the offensive side of the ball.
It was a 65-yard drive there for the Tigers. Short kickoff, and it is muffed and fallen on at the 27. Another flag is in. A lot of laundry in the field to start this game. This one was thrown back at the 43. And let's see, they might end up tacking more yards on the start of this Canyon drive. Right now the ball sits at the 27-yard line. A lot of big plays as well so far. A 30-yard pass, Alford to Howe. 30-yard run by Cox for the Tigers, and Canyon's touchdown came with a 55-yard gallop by Jarrett. And this penalty is against Canyon. And this is a 10-yard penalty, so the Cougars' 3rd penalty of the quarter. That's only 2 minutes and 23 seconds old. Remember, 16 flags last week. Tough to overcome. 1st and 10 from their own 17. Gomez, hands off. Jarrett spun down to the 20-yard line. It's a really nice tackle made in the open field by the Tiger defender coming in to make that play. It was Noah Lawyer. It brings up 2nd down and about 7 to go.
Their defensive line, neither Collins or Bollinger have a whole lot of tackles, so it will be interesting to see whether they can make plays tonight.
That was actually Luke Lawyer on that tackle for the Tigers, who had a big defensive play last week in the loss to Hayes, a 40-yard pick six, and that 22-21 setback. 2nd and 7 from the 20. Gomez back to throw again. On the bootleg, throws complete. Short of the 25. No, they're going to say the receiver was out of bounds. So Gomez 0 of 2 passing in the early going. The pass intended for Jacob Garcia, and now it's third down.
Kind of a good-looking play. The blocking sustains. He had time in the mobile pocket and threw a ball that looked pretty good. The receiver just couldn't keep his feet down.
Canyon had a really tough time converting on third downs last week against Georgetown Eastview. They were 3 of 14. This is 3rd and 7 from their own 20. 4 wide here for Gomez and 3 to his left. He's back to throw to his right, and that pass is overshot, looking for Farr. Step-for-step coverage, though, from Andres Flores-Perry, and Canyon's offense goes 3 and out.
Kind of a funky-looking throw, just almost too far from the get-go as the receiver was in a hand battle with the defensive back. I thought if maybe it was on target, you might even have got a penalty thrown there, but instead incomplete. Back-to-back incompletions, which forced a punt.
Tony brought this up earlier. Again, the wind is going to be a factor tonight. Right now, the back of the Cougars, so I think Gomez had a hard time adjusting for the wind to his back, putting too much on the football. Here is the ensuing punt, and it is dropped, picked up by Tiger, the 32. Ball is still live, though. The Cougars say they've got it, and they do. Special teams mistake, and the Cougars capitalize.
It's not only bad enough that the punt returner muffed it. The protection guy there is Garrick Betts. He went to pick it up because he saw it loose instead of falling on it. He got hit as he's picking up, and the Rangers fall on it, and a special teams break for the Cougars.
And so Canyon comes out at the Tiger 30-yard line, leading 7-6, 8:33 to go in the first quarter. The Cougars, third possession of the game.
Gomez looking to the sideline, not real sure.
So far, he's 0 of 3 passing. And here keeps it himself, puts a stiff arm down of a defender. Spilled over short of the 25, down about the 26-yard line. Lawyer on another tackle there for the Tigers, along with Garrett Betts. And they'll give the quarterback Gomez 3 yards there to bring up 2nd and 7.
Really a good run by Gomez, who turned the corner after the fake and had 3 defenders in front of him, including Austin Hulon, and he ran right out of Hulon's tackle and ended up getting positive yardage.
And now for the 27. Gomez working with 2 tight ends this time and facing press coverage from the Tiger corners. Running play, Jarrett, and he is stacked up at the 25. Whistles haven't blown yet. Jarrett will churn out another yard to the 24 for 3 more yards on his 4th carry of the game, and it brings up 3rd down and 4 to go.
Better than it looked like it could have been, Brant. That could have been a 3rd down and about 7 again, but now 3rd down and 4 is much more manageable as the offensive line actually helped him once contact was made to get those extra couple of yards.
In the season opener for the Tigers, their win over Kerrville-Tybee, they held the Antlers to 0 of 10 on 3rd down. 3rd and 4 from the 24-yard line. 3 wide for Gomez. Running play, Jarrett to the outside. Nice cut back to the inside. Inside the 15, and he is upended inside the 10 and down to the 7-yard line after a 17-yard gash for the Canyon tailback.
What a nice run by Jarrett. And what's most impressive is when he cut back, he saw daylight and burst through it to get a good 17-yard gain.
84 yards rushing in this first quarter already for Savion Jarrett. 5 minutes gone by.
Now they've got to punch it in. 1st and goal from the 7. You got to figure out what it's going to take, and you've got to go perform.
This doesn't seem like the game where you can settle for field goals.
No,
right?
Not at all. Not at all.
1st and goal for the 7. Jarrett again alone setback. Tigers showing a blitz. Design quarterback keeper Gomez, and he is spun down. He'll lose yardage. Phenomenal defensive pursuit from Colby Collins, the senior defensive lineman, taking Gomez back for a 3-yard loss, 2nd and goal.
The defensive line kind of slanted to get through, and Collins came through basically untouched to get to the quarterback that time, and that's something the offensive line can't let happen.
Approaching the halfway point of the first quarter, Canyon on top 7-6, faced with 2nd and goal from the Dripping Springs 10-yard line. Farr, the big receiver target, facing press coverage here on 2nd down. Snap to Gomez out of the shotgun. It is a handoff. Jarrett behind right guard. And he is dropped at the 5 after picking up 5 yards to bring up 3rd and goal.
It was a nice run, but you were looking for that one on 1st and goal from the 7, and kind of curious as clock is stopped.
Was there a flag of the play?
I thought I saw one, but I don't see it laying down anywhere. Another sideline warning,
which is a delay of game after the warning. Every subsequent call of the warning, or the sideline infraction rather, results in lost yardage. It is an accepted penalty. And this should move the ball back to the 10-yard line. And it will. Canyon's 4th flag of this first quarter.
That's a heartbreaker because you've got a chance to have 3rd and goal from the 5. Now you're back to the 10, and I think it brings in a passing game that they haven't had success in.
Exactly. The 5-yard line, your playbook is still very much wide open, but now from the 10, it has to be a passing play, you would think. And so far, Gomez 0 of 3 passing. Empty backfield on 3rd and goal. Over the middle, incomplete. There's another flag. Intended receiver was Jarrett, and looked to be contact committed by Scotty Crosby, the senior. And this will gift wrap another fresh set of downs for Canyon.
That was actually a pretty good route and a pretty good pass. Defense all over Jarrett. You had a chance for something down near the goal line where even at 4th and 1 from the 1, you know you're going to go for it if he does make the catch.
This will be half the distance to the goal for Canyon and give them 1st and goal to 5. Remember that the Cougars went 3 and out, punted the football to Dripping Springs, but the punt was muffed. The Cougars recovered, so they got new life there. And now they were about to go out and try perhaps a 27-yard field goal for the 10, but because of the flag, new life once again for Canyon.
Again, I'm concerned that our officiating staff, our referees, are a little inexperienced because they're huddling up after every flag.
And it is week 3.
I mean, it is pass interference. That's the call.
I think there may have been some confusion about how to administer the penalty itself. Pass interference in the high school game is 15 yards.
So why is the ball at the 1? Because they've spotted this ball at the 1.
It is 1st and goal for the 1-yard line. And Gomez hands off. Jarrett behind right tackle. And did he get in? He did not. On the stop there for the Tigers, Colby Collins again making another play along with Jacob Joy. And a 2nd and goal.
Unbelievable. It looked like he took the ball and had a chance to get into the end zone, and the defense just kind of walled up in a hurry. So on 2nd down, you try to force it in again.
Would think so. Jarrett has scored already once tonight from 55 yards away. Cougars are a yard away here. 2nd and goal. Gomez to the air, to the end zone. Incomplete for Garcia. Pass overthrown. Gomez's night has started 0 for 4 passing. Good coverage from Betts, and it brings up 3rd down.
You're at the 1-yard line. You got 4 shots to run it in. Your passing game is not something that you've had any success tonight, and they're putting such press coverage on Farr. He doesn't even have a chance.
And then you look at that particular matchup, Garcia against the corner Betts. Betts has a lot of size on him. You don't win that jump ball.
You've got to be able to run this ball in from the 1.
Might be 2 plays to score here for Canyon. 3rd and goal. Gomez throws again, and this time complete. This time for a touchdown.
That's Farr.
Callan Farr, 3rd touchdown catch of the season, and the Cougars lead Bills to 13-6.
That was a good throw by Gomez, and Farr had done a nice job of just getting enough space to catch it and be in the end zone when he caught the ball.
So Dallas Gomez has fired 5 touchdown passes this season, 3 of them to Farr. PAT, Welch, good. And the Cougars strike again. 4:43 to go, opening quarter. leading Dripping Springs 14-6 on the Cougars Network.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership, with an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge. With over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
And welcome back to Cougar Stadium. Canyon with the ever-rare 10-play, 30-yard drive. Punctuated on a third-and-goal touchdown pass. Dallas Gomez to Callan Farr from 1 yard away. 14-6, Cougars on top. 4:43 to go, opening quarter.
My mistake, Brad. That was only a 9-play, 30-yard drive.
Okay.
It's
still just as rare.
And you're at the 7-yard line after 3 plays.
Mm-hmm. That was the first pass completion of the night for Gomez. And again, DeFar for a touchdown. Scored 2 touchdowns last week on 6 catches against the Patriots, racking up 117 yards receiving after going catchless in the opener against Lehman.
Right.
Ensuing kickoff bounces out of bounds off the foot of Welch. And this will put the Tigers at their own 35, trailing 14-6. Another Canyon penalty, by the way.
Not real sure what the effort was there. You've got the wind at your back. The angle toward the sideline I don't understand.
So this coming up will be only the second possession of the game for Dripping Springs. Remember, the Tigers marked 65 yards on their first drive in only 4 plays. Got 2 big chunk plays in that possession, ending up in an Alford touchdown run. Final non-district test for both teams. Cougars open up 26-6A play against rival New Braunfels next week. On first down, Alford to throw. And he's got a man across the 40. What a catch in traffic. Cameron O'Bannon makes the grab and moves the chains on a pickup there of 12 yards, first down.
Boy, Canyon went up and high-pointed the ball quickly because he knew he was going to get hit and really pulled it down nicely.
On first down, a running play for Cox. Stays upright, and Cox is into the secondary, and he has another first down for the Tigers up to the Canyon 45 before he is dropped by Tristan Smith. And the Tigers stay in the hurry up.
So a 13-yard pass followed by a 12-yard run there on the move.
On first down, all for the sophomore, takes off to run. 40, angling left and dropped at the 36. It's good for 9. And the Tigers' offense looking very fluid so far tonight.
Did a good job of all 4 receivers went out and occupied the secondary, so no one was there once the defensive line broke down on its pass rush.
Running play, Cox breaks a tackle and he's gone. 36-yard house call, Curtis Cox. And the Tigers, another quick drive, respond once again. And for Cox, the senior, his first rushing touchdown of the season. Now 14-12 game.
Unbelievable. Once he got basically past the second line, the linebackers, there was no one there as all the defensive backs were following receivers.
So far, Cox, 4 carries for 82 yards for Dripping Springs. PAT this time is up and good. And that cuts the lead down to 1. 3:48 to go. First quarter, Canyon 14, Dripping Springs 13 on the Cougars Network. 4 plays, 70 yards, and a minuscule 55 seconds for the Dripping Springs to respond to Canyon's touchdown drive. The Tigers with one of their own. Drive ending on a 36-yard gallop into the end zone by Curtis Cox. And Canyon's lead down to 1, 14-13, 3:48 to go here in the first quarter.
So in little more than 8 minutes of football, we've had a pair of touchdowns by each team, and the defenses have yet to show up.
8 minutes of football, but more than 30 minutes of real time.
Yeah, exactly.
Kickoff from the 40. Short again. Taken by an up man. No, Jarrett, this time he muffed it for the Cougars, and the Tigers, the 30-yard line, say they've got it.
Yep, they do.
Kicking into the wind. The Tigers elect to kick short off the foot of De La Cruz, and it pays off. And the Tigers take over in Canyon territory on the Cougars' first turnover of the game.
So the wind really knocking down those kickoffs for Dripping Springs, and Canyon just hasn't adjusted yet. The second time that they've had trouble fielding it, and this time it costs them.
See Coach Lepsis on the sidelines visiting with Jarrett now as he comes off and the Tigers offense comes on. From the Canyon 31, Alford going back to work. It is a run for Cox to the outside. Able to turn the corner inside the 25, tiptoes down the sideline inside the 20. What a great run by Cox again as the flag flies. This one might come back. Cox, for the time being, stopped the 11 after a 20-yard gain, but again, could be erased.
I'm not real sure what he's seeing as a running back, but he's not running into a lot of defenders in his way. He turned the corner and took him a while to get to the corner, so the defense had pursuit out there. But once he turns the corner, there's like no one in front of him for 15 or 20 yards.
Officials have been very busy in this first quarter. There have been 6 accepted penalties so far, and this one is against Canyon. It is a face mask penalty against the Cougars. This will be half the distance to goal from the 11. Will put the Tigers inside the 10. Right around the 5-yard line. .330 to go. First quarter, Canyon on top 14-13, but Dripping Springs on the doorstep of the lead. First and goal from the 5.
Time for the defense to step up and make some plays.
On the keeper, Alford to his left. Alford's going to walk in untouched. Great blocking on the perimeter there by Dripping Springs as Alford gives the Tigers their first lead of the night. Alford's second rushing touchdown this evening gives him 6 on the year. And Dripping Springs leads now 19-14. And after the PAT, Chapman, 1 of 2 so far tonight for the second team Old District kicker from a year ago. This PAT makes him 2 of 3. So the Tigers 14 unanswered and lead Canyon 20-14 at 3:23 to go in the first on the Cougars Network.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
And we're back at Cougar Stadium. Another quick strike scoring drive for the Tigers. 2 plays, 30 yards in 20 seconds. So think about that. The last 2 scoring drives for the Tigers, albeit the latter set up by a turnover by Canyon, have taken all of 1 minute and 15 seconds for Dripping Springs to pull off.
Well, it's somebody in this game. Somebody's defense has to step up at some point. I don't know if it'll happen in the first quarter, but This is a game that could get out of control scoring-wise if the defenses don't, bow up and get a stop.
Dripping Springs at 14 first-half points, 2 games into the season. They have 20 in the first quarter tonight. Kickoff is fielded at the 25, up to the 28. That's it. As the Canyon return man is planted by the defender, Cole Scott, there for Dripping Springs. On the return there for the Cougars was Williford. And Canyon's offense, so far 2 touchdown drives of its own. Now trailing for the first time tonight as they take over at their own 28-yard line.
Good idea to bring it this way, but the pursuit was ahead of him there. Just needed to turn it upfield a little sooner maybe.
How about Curtis Cox, by the way, for Dripping Springs? Already 100 yards rushing on 5 carries in this first quarter. Gomez and the Canyon offense goes to work, down 20-14. Tigers showing a blitz. Gomez on the keeper. 30, 35. He's got space. Midfield. Gomez still running, angling to his left, inside the 30. Ball fumbled out of bounds. Gomez down to the Tiger 27-yard line. What a run.
Wow. The left side of the offensive line just pushed everybody out of the way, and when Gomez came this way, he had a lane. Beat somebody around midfield when he cut back inside, a receiver putting a little bit of a block on, and then took it inside the 30-yard line before he was tackled. Really a nice-looking play by Gomez.
Mark him at the 29. That is a 43-yard run there for Gomez, who had 33 yards rushing all season coming into the game. Now first down for the 29. Gomez on the keeper again, stumbles a bit of the backfield, and the Tigers make him pay. Stood up by Brock Bollinger, beg your pardon. It's a loss of 2, second down and 12 to go.
And this is what's a little frustrating as you watch them. The RPO game that they're running, and he had Williford going to the right as he fakes the handoff to him. There is nothing but white jerseys, gray jerseys in front of him. That's a handoff going right, and Williford has the better angle to get some yardage. That's just a bad read. Plus, he's stumbling as he makes the handoff. That was a bad decision to keep on to the ball.
Inside of 2.5 minutes to go in the first, Canyon trailing 20-14. Second and 12 from the Tiger 31, and Dripping Springs showing a blitz. They're going to bring it. Gomez throws and low, incomplete. Looking for Luke Grebon Jr. Brings up a 3rd and long for Canyon's pass-challenged offense.
Don't really know if the ball slipped out of his hands. I didn't think it was deflected, but it didn't get there at all. It was kind of a low pass that it might have been deflected. I just think it was a pass that just didn't get there.
I wonder if you're Canyon here, Tony. You're at the 30-yard line right now, the 31. Do you try a running play here, make a manageable 4th down if you're Canyon, or you try to get it all in one play?
I think it's a 2-play territory.
Gomez on the keeper, up the middle, 25, 20, angles right to the outside, 15, inside the 10, and he got it all and then some. Sets up goal to go, the 8-yard line, 23 more yards for the junior quarterback.
Nice job of just seeing what was available. And again, Gomez has some speed because he ran away from a couple of people.
Final 2 minutes of a back and forth offensive filled first quarter. 20-14, Dripping Springs on top. 2 offenses which really hadn't got much going the first 2 games of the year. Gomez with 2 tight ends. Williford to the backfield with him. He throws for the end zone for Farr. In the back left corner, he makes a catch. Touchdown Canyon. Best throw of the night from Dallas Gomez. Farr, his 2nd touchdown.
You and I are both watching that, wondering how on earth that's going to be completed, because the defense had what looked to be the better position, and it just went over everyone, and Farr reached out and grabbed it over the top, and you mentioned it. What a marvelous pass. He couldn't have put it in a better spot.
Callan Farr has 4 catches across 2 seasons against Dripping Springs, all for touchdowns. PAT for Welch splits the pipes, and the Cougars seesaw back in front 21-20 with 92 seconds to go in the first quarter. on the Cougars Network.
There's something watching me.
These kids have a gift that they can't control.
I'm just really scared.
Now, former psychic kids are back to help.
The entities that you see, you're in charge.
What was that?
Psychic Kids, Wednesdays at 10 on A&E.
Watch A&E, GVTC, Channel 558.
5 plays, 72 yards, minute 53 off the first quarter clock. Results in a Canyon touchdown, 8-yard pass. Dallas Gomez to Callan Farr. His second touchdown catch of the night. Cougars on top 21-20 with a minute 32 to go in the first quarter.
Again, the first defense that comes out and makes back-to-back stops can win this football game, if it happens.
The only punt we've seen tonight resulted in a turnover,
Right.
so there really hasn't been a true punt in this first quarter either.
Oh, no, it was a punt. It just was muffed.
Right.
So it just didn't change possession.
Exactly.
I know that's what you're going for, but yeah.
Each team 1 turnover. Each team 3 touchdowns. Each offense looks unstoppable tonight. Ensuing kickoff is a short, quick squib kick by Canyon. There was a dog pile for the football. The Cougars say they've got it, and the officials agree. So Canyon catches Dripping Springs off guard, and they have possession inside the Tiger 40-yard line.
It really feels like it should be the end of the first half, not the end of the first quarter with what's going on play-wise here. You don't try that one in the first quarter. You try it right before halftime. But it worked.
And they'll set up shop at the 37-yard line. This game kicked off at 7:30 local time.
7:35.
7:35 officially. Thank you, Tony. We're getting close to an hour here. 18 minutes shy of an hour-long first quarter. And a minute 27 on the clock. It might take us 18 minutes to get there. Ball start before the first down play there for Canyon. And that will mark the Cougars' 7th penalty of this first quarter.
Unbelievable.
Another reason why this opening quarter has dragged on for so long.
Without a doubt.
Again, the schedule changes next week for both teams. District openers, Dripping Springs will host Austin Travis in the District 12 5A opener. The Cougars in the Worst Bowl on the road, quote unquote, against New Braunfels this coming Friday in the 26 6A opener. 1st and 15 now from the Tiger 42. Dripping Springs showing a blitz, running play. Jarrett spins his way to the 34, and he's still moving up to the 32. 10-yard run there for Jarrett. We'll set up 2nd down and 5.
And again, we have to compliment the offensive line. Dripping Springs is putting 7 guys in the box. In fact, on the slot corners, the defensive backs covering the slots, they're cheating in. So it's almost 8 or 9 guys in the box. And yet Jarrett's still getting 3, 4, 5 yards on a first down carry. So there is enough of a surge there to at least get him some room.
2nd and 5 now, finally inside of a minute to go in this first quarter. Gomez from the shotgun. On the rollout, throwing downfield and overshot Grebon. He had an angle on the defender down the field. Austin Hulon brings up 3rd and 5.
Nice looking pass play as Garcia did a quick out about 5, 6, 7 yards, and Grebon was the one who was trailing through the middle of the field, and not a bad pass from Gomez, just not as sharp as it needed to be for a completion.
Alluded to Cougars' 3rd down issues last week against Georgetown Eastview. They've been much better on 3rd down tonight so far. 3rd and 5 from the Dripping Springs 32. The big target is far for Canyon, and he's lined up on an island to the right. On third down, the whistles blow before the snap. Timeout taken by Coach Lepsis.
Yeah, play clock was winding down. They got the snap off at about 1 second on the play clock, but Coach Lepsis wasn't going to wait for that to happen.
Coach Lepsis did his second season at Canyon. A year ago, the Cougars going 4-6 in year one. If you recall, last year, the Cougars won their first 2 games. They beat Lehman. They beat Georgetown Eastview. But they lost that heartbreaker to Dripping Springs. Again, the Tigers won that game 42-41 despite Canyon taking a 13-point lead into the fourth quarter. And the Cougars never seemed to recover after that loss. That ended up sparking a 4-game losing streak for Canyon. And they went from the potential of going 3-0 to finishing 4-6. Tony, this might sound familiar. In that game last year between the Tigers and Cougars, the two teams combined for 35 yards shy of 1,000.
Yeah. Hey, other scores, Judson up over Harlingen at half by 19-0. This one's still in the first quarter. Everybody else at midway through the second quarter or done at halftime. San Marcos trails, Steele's ahead. Alamo Heights and East Central are tied. Johnson is ahead of New Braunfels, and Reagan and Clemens are tied all in the second quarter.
Of course, there was one 26-6 final last night. Smithson Valley a 44-0 pasting of Madison in San Antonio. Out of the timeout, 3rd and 5 for the 32. Gomez on the rollout, has an angle, has the first down, and gets shoved out of bounds at the end of the play. That's a flag. He was pursued by Karsten Hands and then pushed by Luke Lawyer as the play was ending. That'll tack on 15 yards at the end of the play after Gomez picked up the first down of the 23 following a gain of 9.
Unbelievable that you saw him angling, you saw him running out of bounds, and the defender still went after him, and a silly play to give Canyon any more offense than they've already generated.
And there's a call. Personal foul for a late hit. The Tigers' 3rd penalty of this first quarter, which still has 22 seconds to go in it. Ball marked down to the 12-yard line.
So half the distance?
Yep. .22 seconds to go in the quarter. Is probably time for 7 more plays here. On 1st and 10 for the 11. Running play. Jarrett up the middle. Jarrett into the end zone again. His second tonight. Jarrett now over 100 yards twice in the end zone, and the Cougars have a 27-20 lead.
Or just one play because defense can't tackle.
This has been an unbelievable first quarter tonight. The biggest question we have for the rest of the game, will it end on Friday? PAT good for Welch to make it 28-20. We'll keep things with you right here. And if you recall, that drive was set up by the surprise onside, squib kick, whatever you want to call it. The Cougars caught the Tigers off guard, recovered, ended up with a short field, and later ended up with a touchdown.
4 plays, 37 yards, a little over a minute. I repeat myself, at 28-20, the first defense that can get a couple of stops has a chance to win this football game, and yet we've still got 3 quarters of football to go.
I believe the longest drive of the game in terms of time was the previous scoring drive by Canyon, 1:53 off the clock. That was the longest, shy of 2 minutes. So for the Cougars, 2 touchdown runs for Savion Jarrett, 2 touchdown passes, Gomez, both to far. For the Tigers, 2 touchdown runs for Alford and 1 for Cox.
Final kick probably of the first quarter will be with the wind still at the back.
So we have had 7 touchdowns in this first quarter. On top of that, we have had 10 penalties. and 2 turnovers, not counting the surprise onside kick. And we are now sitting at a 50-minute first quarter tonight.
Of course.
Welch out to kickoff. 2 men back deep with the Tigers. All the kickoffs tonight, though, have been short. And with that, the return team comes up for Dripping Springs. Short kickoff. Fair catch called for, and there's interference. The ball is loose, picked up by the Tigers, but there was clear fair catch interference following a heads-up play made by the Tigers return man, Wes Dube. Dube waved his arm up in the air, and that gives him the right of the football, and only him. And the Cougar defender plowed right into him.
Not as a defense of the kick coverage guy, but you don't see that very often. You're not used to it.
Right.
You're just running almost head down the field just to find the ball, and you see him in your lane, and punts you're used to it. Kickoffs you're not. So frustration for him. Not a good play, but certainly frustration for him.
This has been a very busy officiating crew in this first quarter.
But why do all 7 officials need to huddle up on this one? They all seem to can't stay home in their spot.
Yep, fair catch interference on Canyon, easy call there. But after that, a personal foul against Dripping Springs on top of that. So maybe that explains why all the officials huddled together in terms of administering the 2 penalties here.
That might have been a reason for that there, but our referee also could move a little quicker tonight.
He could.
If he wanted to.
Now, those flags don't offset.
That is correct, because the penalty for the kick interference happens, and then your personal foul goes backwards.
So
Well, no,
Dripping Springs won't get a whole lot of yardage out of this. But now we look, and they're marching the football. You know what? I think they meant to say personal foul on
against
Canyon.
Yes.
Right. Because the ball is all the way inside the Canyon 30, now the 29.
So 15 yards on kick interference, and then 15 more yards on the personal foul.
9 first quarter penalties against Canyon. And 9 seconds to go in the first quarter. 28-20, Cougars on top. This might end the first quarter, this play.
We could hope so.
Alford hands off to Cox. Hurdles over defender, spilled over at the 24 on the tackle for the Cougars. Robert Crandell, and that will finally end this marathon first quarter, which took nearly an hour. 53 minutes in the books off real time, 12 minutes in game time. Your score at the end of 1, Canyon 28, Dripping Springs 20. On the Cougars Network, we're back in a moment.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Well, that was an eventful first quarter, finally in the books as we start the second. And the Cougars on top of the Tigers, 28-20. As now Dripping Springs will operate from right to left. We had 7 touchdowns scored in the first quarter, a pair of 100-yard rushers, 1 for each team, 2 turnovers, and for the Cougars, alarmingly, 9 penalties for 81 yards in the first quarter alone.
That was either a very short first half or a very long first quarter.
It was the latter. On 2nd and 6 from the Canyon 25. Alford, the quarterback keeper, puts his head down and darts forward to the 24 for a yard. And that was one of the shorter plays from scrimmage tonight for Dripping Springs. Brings up 3rd and 5.
So the gain of just 2 on a play that might not have been able to gain anything. He just managed to kind of wiggle his way for a couple of yards. The offensive line's not really getting a surge. They're just trying to create some running lanes for both Alford and Cox.
This might be the first 3rd down tonight for Dripping Springs' offense. Alford on the keeper, behind right tackle, and churns out enough for the first down. Just inside the 20 at the 19, should have the marker, and let's see, not ruling it quite yet. Might require a measurement here.
Well, they don't need to move the ball if they need to measure it. They need to, well, they call it a first down.
They do. On a gain of 4 for Alford, who had 2 rushing touchdowns in that first quarter, giving Alford now 6 on the season. Hurry up offense for the Tigers. Alford back to throw. Good protection towards the end zone. The pass is caught. Reaching for the pylon is O'Bannon, and he's got it for the touchdown. What a play by Cameron O'Bannon. And the Tigers have their 4th touchdown of the game.
What a really nice throw by Alford, and O'Bannon just did a great job of positioning himself, catching the ball, and really holding the ball out over the pylon to get the touchdown call.
O'Bannon, 2 catches, 32 yards, and now a touchdown. And that was the first passing touchdown of the season for the Tigers. PAT is up for Chapman. It's good. And it is once again a 1-point game. 11:05 to go in the second. Canyon 28, Dripping Springs 27 on the Cougars Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
4 plays, 29 yards, minute 4 off the first half clock. Dripping Springs, a touchdown drive ending on the touchdown pass. Alford, his first of the year to O'Bannon. 28-27 Canyon on top, 11:05 to go in the first half. So how about the sophomore quarterback Preston Alford? Last week struggled against Hayes, 5 of 15 passing for a grand total of 31 yards, just 2 yards per pass attempt last week. Tonight, 3 for 3 passing the football for 62 yards and the touchdown.
A real prolific quarterback, eh? What, 8 for 20 coming in?
Mm-hmm.
He's found some targets tonight.
Meanwhile, Gomez with the Cougars, 2 of 7 passing, but the 2 completions, touchdowns. Ensuing kickoff, fielded at the 9, and the returner for the Cougars is up to the 26. On the return for Canyon, Jack Luce. And Canyon's offense comes out, leading by a point with 11 minutes to go until the half. And remember, there's only been 1 true defensive stop in this game, and even then, the ensuing punt was muffed, kind of negating that aforementioned stop.
So again, the challenge is for this offense to keep the momentum going. You've matched every touchdown they've scored when they've gotten ahead, or this time get within 1, you've got to score again.
Here's Gomez, the junior quarterback from his own 26. Low snap, and Gomez, perhaps a broken play, breaks free inside of midfield, and Gomez is gone. 74 yards for the touchdown.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Again, at the inception of the play, it appeared it was a broken play because the snap was low, and that Gomez perhaps wanted to hand it off to Jarrett, but maybe that took the Tigers' eyes away from the quarterback.
It was a marvelous run, Brent. But you have to say how bad the defensive effort was there. The offensive line got about a 1.5, maybe a 2-yard surge off the snap. But where are the linebackers? Where are the safeties? Are they all in the pile? Because once he broke that initial line of scrimmage, there was no one, a wide receiver each side that had a back on. Where's the defense?
Meanwhile, PAT is good. Now, Tony normally tracks the drives. I can do his job for him here. One play, 74 yards in 15 seconds. Canyon touchdown.
Oh, my.
So Dallas Gomez, efficient night tonight, is now responsible for 3 touchdowns. And he joins Jarrett in the 100-yard rushing club for Canyon tonight. The Cougars' run game. Tony, we said this in the open tonight. Can Canyon's run game establish itself and maybe open things up for the playbook? Well, it's done that and then some tonight.
It is unbelievable. And I'm sorry, again, if any defense can get some stops tonight, and I'm not real sure if it's going to matter because we've played 13 minutes and 15 seconds so far tonight in in what will be a 48-minute game. We've played not even just barely more than a quarter. So I'm just real curious if any defense is going to put some stops together to give its team a chance to win the game. And I know both coaches are asking their staffs right now, can we get a stop tonight?
This might be the first team to 70 that wins. And folks,
and that might be halftime.
I'm not exaggerating right now. 70 might be a conservative estimate. Ensuing kickoff by Welch from the 40. Short again. And fair catch called for. It's muffed. That is a live ball. But the Tigers, it's Dube again. They were able to jump back on it at the 32-yard line. And so the Tigers take the turn on offense. We'll see how long it takes them to score. 10:44 to go in the second, and trailing Canyon 35-27.
Time for the Cougars to make a big play on defense and maybe create a turnover for a 2-score lead here midway through the second quarter.
By the way, 147 yards rushing for Gomez on 7 carries, the Canyon quarterback. Here's all for the Tiger quarterback from the 32. Looking to throw to the far side, and incomplete. All on the sideline.
Flag.
Yep. Flags have kind of negated the few defensive plays that have been made to this game, as the Cougars were able to force the incompletion to O'Bannon.
And I mentioned this earlier on one of the pass plays that the defense, this is almost like an NFL game in what the defensive backs are getting away with tonight. There's a lot of contact on every route that's being run. So I'm kind of curious why this one was interference when the only other one was the tackle down on the goal line. This is they're going to call defensive holding is what the call is. Looked like to me he just pinned him to the sideline and kind of rode him toward the sideline. I didn't see really any grabbing, but it's a first down.
That's now 10 flags for the Cougars in the first half, against 16 last week. First and 10 from the 42. Alford on the handoff to Cox. He's driven back and escapes across the 45, just shy of the midfield logo at the 48-yard line. 6-yard run there for Cox. In terms of yardage, not his best run tonight, but in terms of quality, it may have been. 2nd and 4 now.
Well, Thetford, the inside linebacker, was there and who had stopped him and pushed him back with, a help of one of his teammates, but nobody wrapped him up.
2 minutes gone by in the second. 35-27, Canyon on top. On 2nd and 4. Alford, play fake, pass to his left man, wide open. The pass is reeled in and caught. Inside the 45 to the 42-yard line goes Brody Dyer, the senior receiver, that has the first down.
Well, they've got some nice-looking routes on their the heavy side of receivers, or if they're 2 and 2 or split. The inside guy is just doing a late up and out, and he's getting away from coverage on every possession.
Alford now 4-4 passing at first half of the 41-yard line. That was good for a gain of 11. And on first down, this pass complete, and the receiver breaks a tackle inside the 20-yard line and down to the 14. And that was Dyer again. Back-to-back catches. That one good for 27 yards.
Again, tackling, something we haven't seen a lot of tonight, and it's costing the Cougars right here on this possession.
They'll say the 16-yard line, so that one good for 25. Alford out of the shotgun. It is a running play to the left. 10. It's all for the quarterback. Gets a block at the perimeter, and he walks in untouched. Great block downfield from O'Bannon, and the Tigers score again. 16 yards away there for Alford. His third rushing touchdown, and the defense is having a long night tonight.
Boy, two different players on that. I'm not real sure they were being blocked, but they were being covered, almost face guarded to the point where they just can't get through to get to the running back who's right there with them.
PAT, Chapman good, and the shootout continues. 9:07 to go in the half. Canyon 35, Dripping Springs 34 on the Cougars Network.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
Four plays, 68 yards in 98 seconds. This game is unlike any I've ever seen before. 9:07 to go in the second. Canyon on top, 35-34. This has turned into an arena football game.
Yeah, without an arena. It's
on a 100-yard field, yes.
I'm sorry. It just, when you're used to seeing football on every weekend, you watch games on Friday night, on Saturday all day, and all day Sunday. And I've never seen a game where no one's making tackles.
And so we kick off the other crew, sails into the end zone. And the Cougars will start at their own 25, on top by one, 35-34, 9:07 to go in the second quarter. Again, we have seen exactly one punt tonight, and even then, the punt was muffed, leading to a turnover, no true change of possession in this game. And even the turnovers in this game, there's been one for each team, they've come on special teams. So neither defense has made a play tonight. And now Canyon started offense. Last drive, took them all of one play to score, 74-yard touchdown by Dallas Gomez on the ground. Gomez here, hands off to Jarrett. Spilled over across the 30-yard line, up to the 31 for 6 to bring up second down and 4.
We've seen Williford be in there on occasion, but Jarrett has been there more. The bigger number running back, and he's had a huge night. Everybody looks to the sideline waiting for the call.
The offense took a while to break the huddle. They might be trying to catch their breath. Second down and 4 from the 31. Gomez operates out of the shotgun again. And the junior is back to throw. Now takes off to run. Gomez looking for the corner, and he is lassoed to the 31-yard line, no gain. And there's a late flag. As you saw, the defender, Brock Bollinger, ripped the helmet off of Michael Bassett. So this should be 15 yards against Dripping Springs. And we'll check another flag in this game.
Garcia comes off limping. He was out blocking in front of Gomez and must have got caught up underneath a pile or something. And really watching far, I know you've seen it as well. The leading receiver has been press covered by Betts right off the ball, and a safety over the top, which is Crosby. He's got no hope to get open unless it's a quick slant or something where he gets inside leverage.
Officials still talking about it. A lot of meetings amongst them tonight. All right, let's see. Dead ball foul. It's against Dripping Springs.
Both sides, offsetting.
So this will be offsetting. And this is going to bring up third down and 4 for Canyon. No gain of that run there by Gomez.
referee must be like a country farmer where everything is just methodical and slow, and I bet his speak is slow because everything he's done tonight, he just kind of walks out there, kind of saunters out to the hash mark and then makes his call and saunters back. We want to know why this game's taking so long. I think part of it is the officials taking so long.
You know, it's funny, when offenses are productive, typically the defenses are fresh because the offense will have turned out long scoring drives.
Right.
That is not the case tonight. The offenses for both teams have been so explosive so quickly, the two defenses are tired, especially Dripping Springs. This is a 5A team. They don't have the depth that Canyon does. And so you wonder, Tony, because the two defenses are so exhausted, how will they muster up enough energy to get one of those stops?
But why are the defenses exhausted? They're not tackling anybody.
Fair enough.
You know, we've got more.
As somebody enjoys an ice cold one near the crowd, Mike. Friday nights in Texas, man.
It is. Hopefully, let's get a first down.
3rd down and 5, they'll say. Tigers showing a blitz from the 31. Gomez hands off Jarrett, and it takes 3 Tigers to slam him down. I saw Jacob Joy on the tackle there for Dripping Springs. Brings up a rarity in this game, a unicorn of sorts, a 4th down. And the Cougars will, in fact, punt the ball away after a gain of 3.
So second time the Cougars will punt. The first one, as you remember, was muffed, which gave Canyon another possession. This time he'll be punting into what is now a much less wind, but still into the wind nonetheless.
Back to return, Carter King for Dripping Springs. And here's the punt by Welch. King calls for the fair catch, and he muffed it initially. Was able to gather in the football, though, at the 35, and a flag flies in. Jack Luce, the Cougar special teamer down the field, was telling the official that, look, he muffed the punt and was going after the ball.
He is free game once he muffs it. That is not a penalty of hitting a fair catch receiver, not if he muffs it. They've got to pick this one up.
It's more about the nature of the play than it is the rule in the book. If you're the officials here, you would think. And Coach Lepsis is letting the side judge hear about it. And they will not pick up the flag, it appears.
No, that is not a good call.
When our head official meets with the crew again, and maybe they're discussing that very thing, the nature of that play. There was no intent on the part of Luce, who was trying to hold up but saw the ball come loose and simply made an instinct play, went after the football. But they will rule fair catch interference and a 15-yard penalty against Canyon.
When that ball goes to the ground, it is not kick-catch interference because the ball is loose. They're going for the loose ball.
The last time I can remember this coming up was actually in an NFL game. The moment that the returner signals fair catch, he has the only right to the ball until it hits the ground.
Right.
Even if he juggles it in the air, the kicking team cannot go for the football until he finishes the play.
And I think that's what our side judge was telling Canyon's coaching staff, is that he didn't drop it on the ground, he just bobbled it.
On the first play of the drive, Alford is stacked up for a loss. Back at his own 47-yard line. That is the first negative play for the Tigers tonight.
Joey Destrada, the defensive end we talked about earlier, made the play there as he just took to the offensive lineman and pushed him back into the quarterback.
Makes it 2nd and 13, approaching 7 minutes to go in the half. Canyon leading. Don't adjust your sets, 35-34.
Keep that clock moving.
Saw a lot of tempo from Dripping Springs earlier, but right now that tempo is slowed down. On 2nd and 13, Alford takes a shotgun snap. Cougars bring a 4-man rush. Alford throws to a man wide open near the sticks at the Canyon 42. It's good for about 10 yards. On the catch, Ethan Hooks, or beg your pardon, for the Tigers. That was Ryan Kimball. And it brings up 3rd down at about 3 to go.
Again, they had trips to the near side. The only receiver on the far side made a nice route and got open.
3rd down and 3 after a gain of 9. Snap to Alford from the Canyon 43. Alford takes off to run to the secondary. Alford tripped up short of the 30 to 31 for 12 more. On his 8th carry of the game.
He just takes off, basically off tackle, and finds a running lane and just bursts right through it.
Canyon again tonight looking for his first win of the year, heading into daunting 26-6A play. The Tigers trying to avoid suffering back-to-back losses. First down for the 31. And Alford operates off a play fake. He's pressured, flushed out, and throws to an open receiver at the 25 into the 22-yard line. And for Dripping Springs, catch made by Wyatt Lesper. A really used tight end makes the catch for another Tiger. We're close to it, a first down.
He's the player that went into the slot left and just ran out in the flat and waited as the quarterback Alford was pressured. He finally found him. No one had picked him up through all of that mix, and he was wide open for the first down.
2nd and 1 now. Alford takes a high shotgun snap on the quarterback keeper up the middle. Alford walks in untouched and gives the Tigers the lead back. 4th rushing score of the night for Alford, this one from 22 yards away.
Wow.
Again, just so many of these touchdowns, both teams have come, it seems like, uncontested.
That is a very good description of what that was.
Chapman's PAT is up. Missed one earlier and doesn't miss here. 5:32 to go in the first half. Dripping Springs 41, Canyon 35 on the Cougars Network. Five-play, 50-yard drive in under 2 minutes for Dripping Springs. Tigers seesaw back in front, leading 41-35. 5:32 to go in a wild first half. Preston Alford, the touchdown run, is 4th tonight. Last one from 22 yards away. Sophomore quarterback for the Tigers coming into the season. The expectations were Zach Jamelin was going to be the starter, a senior for Dripping Springs, but Alford is the one who's looked really good all season long. Now 8 rushing touchdowns on the year. Has also thrown for one tonight on 7 of 7 passing. And now the Tigers kick away. De La Cruz's kick short of the goal line. Taken at the 3. Loose on the return for Canyon. 15-20. And is tripped up short of the 30-yard line.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
A flag comes in at the back end of the play. This game has been something else.
Caden Holt is going to be called for a block downfield that I guess they're going to say that was after the play was over, but I don't know how far after.
Officials still meeting. Nothing has been cut and dry in terms of calls in this game, right? I mean, it's a lot of this has been, what did you see?
Right.
You know.
And really one of the better kick returns tonight of over 25 yards on the return. I think the last time they kicked into the end zone, they want them to return the ball because their kick coverage has been good all night. Ball spotted on about the 28, but I don't think it's going to stay there.
That official comes out to relay the call. Dead ball foul, personal foul against Canyon and against Dripping Springs. The offsets again. First down, Cougars at their own 29. Remember, Dripping Springs' defense had a rare defensive stop on Canyon's last offensive possession. So let's see if the Cougars can get back into the rhythm offensively, as our officials are having a hard time now, as one of them wanted to move the football up, but again, the penalty's offset.
Right.
So the ball should be spotted where the return ended, and that's the case finally here.
Kind of looks in sometimes like we've got 6 referees out there, and they all want to make the decision on their own. And when they get their heads together, there's a difference of opinion.
1-2 combo. Jarrett and Gomez running the football has led to nearly 300 yards rushing for the Cougars in this first half alone. First down for their own 28. Gomez hands off Jarrett here to his left. And Jarrett stiff arms one Tiger and finally is tackled at the 33. It's good for about 5. Second down to 5 coming up following Jarrett's 12th carry of the game.
Nearing the 5-minute mark, which means the second quarter will end eventually here in this, hopefully before 9:30 at least.
So you say.
Yeah. Good job of the run by Jarrett that time. Just forced somebody out of his way as he kind of stopped and went back upfield.
On 2nd and 5. Tigers showing a blitz. They're going to bring it. Gomez to throw against the pressure. Rolls out to his right. A flag flies. The pass is caught across the 40-yard line by Garcia.
Oh!
But the official says he was out of bounds.
He was forced out, so that is by rule.
Might be holding against Canyon anyway.
It looks like that's where it was thrown.
Tiger players pointing in that direction. And that's the call, holding on Canyon. And that is now 12 first-half penalties for the Cougars. I'm very curious, Tony, what the two conversations will be in the respective locker rooms at halftime in terms of adjustments. What do we need to do to improve? I have to mention for the offensive coordinators, it's a very short conversation, but for the defensive coordinators, much different.
I got to think the offensive coaches are just going to implore their defensive staffs, hey, get a couple of stops and we got a chance to win this game. Our offense is scoring points.
2nd and 15 following the 10-yard penalty. From his zone 23, Gomez looking to throw. The junior airs it out, and it is on the ground, incomplete for Garcia. And that's going to bring up 3rd and long for Canyon's offense. Remember, it's an offense that failed to pick up a first down on the previous drive.
This is where I've got to believe Dripping Springs is kind of feeling good right now. They've scored back-to-back possessions. In the midst of that, they forced a punt by Canyon. They've grabbed the lead. Now if they get another stop here, they'll have the ball with a 6-point lead, something they haven't done much tonight of.
3rd and 15, 4:20 to go, second quarter. The Cougars trail the Tigers 41-35 at their own 23-yard line. 4 wide for Gomez. Tigers bring a 4-man rush. Gomez throws over the middle for Garcia, turns and makes the catch, but at the 37 is short of the first down by about 2 yards. They say the 36, a gain of 13, brings up 4th and 2, and the Cougars will punt.
And you have to. A nice pass play where Garcia really did a great job of adjusting to the ball. His only spot that he could have cut the ball, and he did make the play.
So the third punt of the night coming up for Welch. And one man back deep. Carter King to return for Dripping Springs. Flag before the snap. Or whistles blow. I think a timeout called by Dripping Springs.
Yeah, I think Drip thought that there might be a fake coming the way the motion had gone all to the left side. Thought he had a timeout, so he'd use it.
Well, again, you heard Tony go through some of the 26-6A scores earlier. The Cougars start 26-6A play next week at New Braunfels in the Worst Bowl. And then the Cougars' next home game 2 weeks from tonight as they host Smithson Valley, a Ranger team, which is now 2-1 going into district play. A 44-0 winner over Madison last night.
And just so you know, everybody's at halftime except for us. Judson's already in the fourth quarter, and Steele is late in the third quarter.
Of course.
And we still have 4 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Canyon's road district games will come against New Braunfels, Clemens, East Central, and Steele. Home games against Smithson Valley, Judson, and San Marcos. Such a tough district to make the postseason in.
Without a doubt.
After the Tiger timeout, they have 2 left. Cougars out to punt again. After some movement on the line, and Welch swings the right leg and punts it away. Different return man out there for the Tigers. Takes a Canyon bounce inside the 25. Still rolling and picked up at the 18. It's a 56-yard punt there for the Cougars. Nice punt there for Welch. And here come the Tigers offensively, leading 41-35 with 3:26 left in the second.
And again, you've got to think their coaches are looking, see how does the defense react to that? If we do fake it and run that way, do we have the blocks with the motion? Didn't look to me like they could have got the 2 yards because, again, he's running from 10 yards deep. But it'll be interesting to see if that's something later tonight or later this season they do try.
First half for their own 19, I believe, the deepest the Tigers have started tonight. And here is a completion by Alford across the 20, receiver down to the 23. Good for about 4 yards there for Dripping Springs. The catch that time was made by Carter King. It's good for 4 yards. Second down and 6.
Good coverage, just a good block by a receiver out there to get him a couple of yards.
Alford now 8 for 8 passing to start the game. From his own 23, the sophomore quarterback hands off to Cox, and he's wrapped up for a loss. Caden Holt came in with the team high 4 tackles for loss. Add 1 more to that total. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 8 to go.
Great job of getting penetration off the handoff and just beat Cox to the spot and brought him down. Caden Holt, the junior nose tackle, making a play on this one.
3rd down, 8 to go for Dripping Springs. Approaching 2 minutes to go in the first half. Tigers on top of Canyon, 41-35.
How many 3rd downs have they had?
I think only 2 to this point. Alford throws right side, complete. First down across the 30-yard line. Out of bounds at the 36. Gain of 15 yards there and 3rd down and 8.
I'm telling you, the routes their receivers run are meticulous. They are just really good routes, and Alford's just putting it right on them.
Carter King, second catch of the drive. That one good for 15 yards. Snap of the ground, dove on by the quarterback Alford, so the Tigers will lose yardage, about 5 yards lost on the play. Now 2nd and 15.
And again, Alford's just a sophomore. First year of varsity action.
Older brother Parker Alford was a great receiver for Dripping Springs a year ago. On 2nd and 5. 15, beg your pardon. Alford rolls out. Now takes off to run to the 40. Bounces to his right, 45. And he sheds a tackle to midfield inside of the Canyon logo and down to the 47-yard line. 21-yard gain there for Alford. Sophomore right now making it look easy.
And really only a 3-man rush on that, and they got some pressure to force him, but there was nobody else to contain.
Now for the Canyon 48, Alford a deep drop, throws on the run, complete. And that's O'Bannon. O'Bannon is swarmed under at the 42-yard line. Stop made by Tristan Smith, good for 6 yards. Tigers stay in the hurry up. O'Bannon's 3rd catch. Alford now 10 for 10 passing. As we have 60 seconds to go in the first half. 2nd and 3 for Dripping Springs. Alford, quick drop, steps up, pressured, sacked, and down he goes. Cade Stevens, his first sack of the year, comes at a great time as Coach Zimmerman yells out to the official he wants his second timeout and gets it with 37 seconds to go in the half.
A couple of linebackers were in there as well, putting pressure as they blitzed. And that time, a great job of Stevens just wrapping him up and putting him down.
So 32 seconds to go in the half. Dripping Springs has one timeout left, a 41-35 Tiger lead as we approach halftime. And remember, Dripping Springs will get the football to start the third quarter. So if you're the Tigers here, Tony, and you know Canyon's defense having a tough time stopping you, if you find a way to score going into the locker room, you have a chance at a potential 3-possession lead to start the second half.
I agree. I'm trying to figure out where they're going to spot the ball. It looks like because the chains haven't moved yet. That's what I'm looking at.
Well, where the C's interlock the logo.
I understand that, but the chains haven't moved yet, and that always concerns me when the chains aren't moving. What are the officials? Because the line judge on the other side is in charge of them, and if he hasn't brought them back yet after the play's over and there's a timeout, something concerns me of what's going on. The chain should be third down back at the 48-yard line, and it's still at the 41 on second down.
And now the down marker comes back.
I don't know. Just because there's a timeout doesn't mean he can't move.
Right.
That, again, you wonder why we question officials, folks. It's been a curious night all night long.
That's putting it lightly. So it is 3rd and 10 after the loss of 6 and the sack there, courtesy of Cade Stevens.
7th play of the drive.
The Cougars pass rush had 4 sacks in the opener against Lehman, none last week against Georgetown Eastview, and that was their first sack tonight. Cougars right now trying to get clarification of the timeouts. The scoreboard says that Dripping Springs is 2. They should only have 1.
That is correct. They've already called 2.
But the scoreboard still reads 2. And now 10 more seconds added to the clock as well. Reads 42 seconds on 3rd down and 10. Alford steps up, throws to his right, complete again. A strike thrown to the 33. And that'll move the chains and stop the clock for a moment for Dripping Springs.
Drestada was rushing the passer and just got grabbed by one of the offensive line as the pass play gets him a first down.
P.J. Howe on the catch, a gain of 14. Alford rolls left, throws. This pass is caught to the 30-yard line. The clock is ticking. Inside of 20 seconds, Howe another catch there for the Tigers. That one good, though, for just 4 yards. And now the Tigers will have to spin their 3rd and final timeout.
I think he spiked it, didn't he?
Well, the down marker still says 2nd down.
Yeah.
The clock is stopped. I think there's some confusion on the Tigers' end as well, how many timeouts they have left. And yes, there was a spiked ball there, and that is the first incompletion of the night for Alford. So, 3rd and 6. Alford, play fake. Here's the blitz, throwing deep to the end zone, and it's overthrown. Diving attempt made by O'Bannon into the end zone, or actually the receiver down the field was Dyer. Stops the clock, 8 seconds to go. It's 4th and 6.
Crandall on coverage looked like it when he turned and ran up the field. The receiver might have been held a little bit, but no flag on the play. Incomplete pass.
This would be a 47-yard attempt for Chapman, who has not kicked a field goal successfully this season. Don't quite know his range, and you don't see the personnel changing here for Dripping Springs.
Whatever wind would be at his back.
So, Alford to throw.
Oh, my.
Throwing to the end zone and whistles. A timeout was called first by Canyon. So the game clock will reset from 2 to 8. The Cougars spin their second timeout. They have 1 left.
Alford had a man open going towards the flag. He overthrew it, which would have been an interception even though timeout had been called. That was a touchdown waiting to happen.
Yep. I think that Coach Lepsis saw something in the defense.
Yeah.
You know, when that, and you talk about game management, game situations, if you're a coach to your players, you preach it all the time. But there's 8 seconds left, and the opposing team has only 1 timeout left, and it's 4th down. You got to send your players well off the line to guarding the goal line. Keep everything in front of you.
Yes, I agree. I'm not sure we saw that, but that's what we think should have happened. And they've been rushing just 3 on normal pass rushes here throughout much of the game. On occasion they've blitzed, and that's when they put more pressure. But just a 3-man front on the pass rush.
See what the Cougars do here defensively. 4th and 6. Offense stays out there for Dripping Springs. No field goal try here. Alford with 4 wide. Facing a 3-man rush. Alford waiting for receivers to get downfield. Now it takes off to run. Alford is pulled down to the 20-yard line, and that will end the first half following a 10-yard run. A lot of offense in the first half, not much defense, and a tight game at the end of 24 minutes. Your score, Dripping Springs 41, Canyon 35. Halftime coverage coming up on the Cougars Network. We're back in a moment.
Do you know what's perfect? Wick Productions teaming up with the Canyon Cougars. No kidding. We take pause when we hear you cheer for replays on the scoreboard. And we love the feline we get when you visit CougarsNetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Meow. Isn't that right? What? Cat got your tongue? I mew it.
There's something watching me.
These kids have a gift that they can't control.
I'm just really scared.
Now, former psychic kids are back to help.
The entities that you see, you're in charge.
What was that?
Psychic Kids, Wednesdays at 10 on A&E.
Watch A&E, GVTC, channel 558.
I feel my body dying.
Its teeth were clenched around my arm.
I felt like a rag doll.
It looked like a scene from Jaws.
It was a pretty rough trip. She was eating me alive.
Watch Animal Planet, GVTC, channel 552.
New kids, brand new challenges.
You know what that means.
A brand new season of Kids Baking Championship.
Most fun cake.
Topping your giant donut with regular donuts.
Yeah.
Who will beat the competition to become Kids Baking Champions? All new Kids Baking Championship, Monday night at 9 on Food Network.
Watch Food Network, GVTC, channel 563.
Welcome back to Cougar Stadium, where Canyon trails Dripping Springs 41-35. We are at the half. Other scores in District 26 6A. At Judson, the Rockets lead Harlingen's Cardinals 26-0 at the start of the fourth quarter. At East Central, they trail Alamo Heights 21-14 at the half. Churchill is hosting Steele, and Steele leads that one 14-0 midway through the third quarter. At halftime in San Marcos, United High School from the Valley leads San Marcos 21-3. Johnson leads at New Braunfels at the half 21-7. And Clemens leads the Reagan Rattlers 21-7. That one also at the half. And of course, last night in 26-6A action, the Smithson Valley Rangers played at Madison and won 44-0. So the Rangers with a big win on the road last night on Thursday night. Again, that's your scores from 26-6A. We're going to come back with another timeout. Then we'll have your first half statistics as you're on the Cougar Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Do you know what's perfect? Wick Productions teaming up with the Canyon Cougars. No kidding! We take pause when we hear you cheer for replays on the scoreboard. And we love the feline we get when you visit CougarsNetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Meow. Isn't that right? What? Cat got your tongue? Mew it. When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
There's something watching me.
These kids have a gift that they can't control.
I'm just really scared.
Now, former psychic kids are back to help.
The entities that you see, you're in charge.
What was that?
Psychic Kids, Wednesdays at 10 on A&E.
Watch A&E, GVTC, Channel 558.
I feel my body dying.
Its teeth were clenched around my arm.
I felt like a rag doll.
It looked like a scene from Jaws.
It was a pretty rough trip. She was eating me alive.
Watch Animal Planet, GVTC, Channel 552.
New kids, brand new challenges.
You know what that means?
A brand new season of Kids Baking Championship.
Most fun cake.
Topping your giant donut with regular donuts.
Yeah.
Who will beat the competition to become Kids Baking Champions? All new Kids Baking Championship, Monday night at 9 on Food Network.
Watch Food Network, GVTC, Channel 563.
We're back at Cougar Stadium, about midway through the halftime activities, or maybe a little bit less than midway through. At 20 minutes after 9, we are at halftime. Most other games are midway through the third quarter or later, but right now, Dripping Springs leads the Canyon Cougars 41-35. We've got halftime stats with you, and here's Brant with those.
All right, thank you, Tony. Looking at the Canyon numbers in the first half individually, the Cougars are led on the ground by the quarterback, Dallas Gomez, 8 carries, 147 yards, and a rushing touchdown, giving him 2 on the season. Gomez's rushing score came from 74 yards out early in the second quarter. Meanwhile, Savion Jarrett also a very productive first half. 12 carries, 124 yards, 2 rushing scores of his own from 55 yards away and 11 respectively, giving Jarrett 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. Gomez passing for the Cougars, just 3 of 8 for 22 yards, but 2 of his 3 completions good for touchdowns. Speaking of which, the Cougars' leading receiver, Colin Farr, 2 catches for 9 yards, both for touchdowns, and Jacob Garcia had the only other catch good for 13 yards. penalty yardage for the Cougars, it was up there. 12 flags for Canyon at the end of the first half for 116 yards. Remember, last week, the Cougars committed 16 penalties for 120 yards for the game in the loss against the Patriots. For Dripping Springs on the ground, they were led by their running back, and it's Curtis Cox, who had 8 carries for 110 yards. Pretty effective night for Cox tonight, and a touchdown. Meanwhile, the quarterback, Preston Alford, 13 carries, 87 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns for Alford, giving him 8 on the season. Passing-wise, Alford just as effective, 12 of 13. The only incompletion was when he spiked the football, 159 yards passing for Alford, and his first passing touchdown of the season. That was good to Cameron O'Bannon. Bannon, 3 catches, 38 yards, and the aforementioned score. Meanwhile, P.J. Howe, 3 catches of his own for a team-leading 48 yards in the first half. Carter King, 2 catches for 19 yards. Dyer had 2 for 36. Hooks had 1 catch for 9. Lesper had 1 for 9 for the Tiger tight end. Meanwhile, Dripping Springs, in terms of penalties, not nearly as many as the Cougars, just 3 for 25 yards in the first half. But again, rushing yardage, both teams very good. For the Tigers, 197 yards, and for the Cougars, 271. Your score again at the end of the first half. Dripping Springs 41, Canyon 35.
So 76 points in the first quarter by the two teams combined. The over-under, by the way, on the game coming net was 77. That was the over-under, so we're definitely going to go over tonight. But tell me, who comes out and plays the better defense in the second half? In the first 6 minutes of the second half, they win the game, don't they?
I'd agree with that, Tony. There has to be a tone set early in this game by one of the defenses, because if a defense can't figure things out, then that team is going to lose. And an area of concern for both coaches, again, has to be the defense's 649 yards of offense in this first half alone. I think we started to see some of the defenses play better as the half went along. The second quarter, not as much scoring as the first, but there are far too many explosive plays for both teams. You look here, Tony, and by my count, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays this game 30 yards or longer. That can't happen.
You're right. In the first quarter, there were 4 touchdowns. In the second quarter, there were only 3 touchdowns. So it really slowed down a lot.
Right. Well, the score at the end of the first quarter was 28-27.
I thought it was 21-20.
No,
28-27?
28-27, I believe, is what I had at the end of the first quarter.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
So it was, quote, only 14-7 in the second.
Yeah.
So, yes, there was 8 touchdowns scored in the first quarter and just 3 in the second. So maybe the trend has started to go to the defense, but, Tony, somebody's got to show that over the course of 24 minutes,
right?
Not only a few minutes here or there.
It is.
So, again, your score, Dripping Springs 41, Canyon 35. Back with the playing of the marching band for the Canyon Cougars when we return on the Cougars Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Do you know what's perfect? Wick Productions teaming up with the Canyon Cougars. No kidding! We take pause when we hear you cheer for replays on the scoreboard. And we love the feline we get when you visit CougarsNetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Meow. Isn't that right? What? Cat got your tongue? I mew it.
Welcome back to Cougar Stadium, final non-district game of the 2019 season for the Cougars. They trailed Dripping Springs at the half, 41-35. And now standing by, the Canyon Marching Band prepared to perform at halftime here from Cougar Stadium. Enjoy.
Sit right here and watch them. You want to sit right here? Or do you want to go down?
I've seen them together. Yeah, cute kid. I've never been in Casey's office, but I see her all the time. Really? Oh, what a small world. That's good to know. That's funny. Theme song from Superman. Where that last verse was. Yeah, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 homecoming group. Let's give them big hands.
Cody just told me, so Cody just texted his kid and said, "Hey, what happened to your junior girl?" Right back. She did 9 things at the pep rally. Was it appropriate? Like, was there timing good? I mean, did it hit the? Don't let it go to your head, kid. The game went over yet. Don't let it go to your head.
And the 2019 homecoming queen is Kirsten Green.
It's just student popular voting.
They're not the same like their right? With the player, I guess you call it.
No, there were signs that were up in the school, and one of them said, "Don't keep your nose in the apple yellow." Yeah, so there were signs up there. Yeah. Yeah, did you hear that? That there was a sign up in the high school that said, "Don't pick your nose, pick Gabriella," and another one was, written up like Google lettering, kind of, choose me. So they have to put up signs to get votes. Ours just happened to actually be a couple that won ours,
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
The all-new Nissan and New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan and New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Do you know what's perfect? Wick Productions teaming up with the Canyon Cougars. No kidding! We take pause when we hear you cheer for replays on the scoreboard. And we love the feline we get when you visit CougarsNetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Meow. Isn't that right? What? Cat got your tongue? I mew it. When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
After a wild first half, can't wait to see what's in store in the second. 41-35. Dripping Springs on top as we get ready to start the third quarter. And the Tigers will have the football first. Again, nearly 700 yards of total offense in the first half between these two teams. Big first half for Canyon running back Savion Garrett. 12 carries for $124, 2 scores. And for Curtis Cox, the Tiger running back, 8 carries of his own for $110 to score. And the two quarterbacks also, Tony, ran the ball very well in the first half.
So what we hope to happen at halftime is defensive coaches got their kids ready to make some tackles in the second half, and we'll see better defense coming up here in the next 24 minutes as we expect a very good second half and maybe half as much scoring and better defense and more competitive, even though 41-35 is very competitive, I'd have to say.
Yeah, again, it was 28-27 Canyon at the end of the first quarter, and the scoring slowed down some in the second quarter that saw the Tigers win that one 14-7. Welch will kick off with the Cougars from left to right. 2 men back deep for the Tigers to return. Canyon's defense did not force a punt in the first half. Short kickoff and fielded by an up man at the 28-yard line. No return there as it was fielded by Carter King.
So we'll see whose defense can step up first. The Cougars have the first opportunity to see if they can make a stop.
Very good first half for Tiger quarterback Preston Alford, 12 of 13 passing, 159 yards and a touchdown. On first down from his own 29, the Cougars jump, and it's a free play. Alford will take a shot down the field, and looking for O'Bannon, leaps and makes the catch at the 36, and dragged out of bounds there. And so Alford picking up where he left off and takes advantage of the free play.
I have to say that Tendai Handana, the defensive back on the play, just kind of, as the ball got there, kind of stopped and watched him catch the ball. I'm kind of curious of why he didn't go back and compete for it.
Gain of 35 yards there for the Tigers on the very first play of the third quarter. So again, Canyon's defense just struggling here tonight. They have 41 last week in the loss to Georgetown Eastview, surrendering 425 yards that night. The Tigers on pace to shatter that mark. And now first down from the 38-yard line. O'Bannon the big catch. Lines up wide left on first down. Play fake, pass to the right is caught. What a catch to the 30-yard line as a flag flies in. This could be a hold as the catch was made by P.J. Howe. Out of bounds at the Canyon 28 right now stands for a gain of 10, but we'll check the flag.
You'd have to assume where the flags are. It's holding. But again, you have to be marveled. The pass routes and the passes and catches seem so sharp and crisp tonight for a team that really didn't have, 20 total passes in their repertoire the first two games.
Offsetting penalties, there was an illegal receiver downfield for Dripping Springs and another personal foul against Canyon. So we'll do this first down play again. Coach Galen Zimmerman, again, his fifth season at Dripping Springs. Very impressive record, 37-12. Last 3 years, the records for Dripping Springs, 8-3 a year ago, 11-1 in 2017, going undefeated in the regular season, 12-2 the year prior in 2016, making the region finals. First and 10, Alford on the keeper. Spins out of trouble to the 32, making the 33-yard line for 5. Second down and 5 coming up.
Boy, the offensive line gave him a surge of about the first 2 or 3 yards, and then he just muscled his way for another couple of yards to get 5 total on the first down run. That offensive line got a good push on the right side.
On second and 5, Alford from the Canyon 33. Hands off to Cox. Nice bounce move to the outside of the 25. Tight ropes the sideline and dances out of bounds at around the 10. They're going to mark him out at the 11. 22-yard gallop there for Cox. Well over 100 yards tonight. First down for the Tigers.
Again, that time the offensive line's right side gave him a lane to run in, but he just broke a couple of tackles.
On first and 10, Cox a carry to his right, and he's going to walk into the end zone for the touchdown. His second tonight. 11 yards out there for the Tigers, and now Dripping Springs has its largest lead, 47-35.
Brad, as a Canyon fan, you have to look at that and just wonder what's going on there. He was untouched to the goal line.
Chapman's PAT following a low snap. It is good. And Dripping Springs is on top, 48-35. 10:58 to go in the third on the Cougars Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
The first drive of the second half, Dripping Springs marches 71 yards. Big play on the drive, courtesy of Curtis Cox. 11-yard gallop into the end zone to wrap up the drive at 33 yards rushing on the opening third quarter possession for Dripping Springs.
4 plays, 35, 5, 22, and 11. Took all of, after the return, 50-some seconds.
And now that keep this in mind, too, the Cougars offensively have slowed down a bit. The last 2 possessions have ended in punts. Here's the kickoff. Ruse will field it at the 2, up to the 10, to the 20. He's got a crease here, 30. Cuts outside 40. Midfield, actually, it's Barrett on the return. And Savion Barrett takes it inside of Tiger territory up to the 38-yard line. Great return for Savion Jarrett, beg your pardon. And Jarrett's got the Cougars in business at the 37.
Well, that just opened up just like we've seen some runs tonight, and he had a lane to get through and some good blocking up front to open the lanes on initial kick coverage or kick blocking.
And now there's a lot of pressure in Canyon's offense here because the defense is not getting stops.
Yeah.
Canyon's offense can ill afford any empty possessions here.
And their defense has to come up with a stop or two if they're going to expect to come back.
Gomez passing in the first half, 3 of 8, 22 yards, 2 touchdowns from the 37. The junior quarterback is going to run it to his right. Bounces outside, sheds a tackle, bowls over a defender at the 32 for about 5 yards there. Garrett Betts to stop, brings up 2nd and 5.
You know, that's a 5-yard run that should have been no gain as Gomez just simply stopped at the line, just broke a tackle and got 5 yards out of it.
About 90 seconds gone by in the third. Dripping Springs on top, 48-35. Cougars going to work at the Tiger 32. Gomez barking with the snap. He'll take it here as the rush goes for Garcia. The pass incomplete to the 12. Betson on coverage again. Sets up 3rd and 5.
Gomez made that throw just kind of almost lazily. He didn't really set himself, didn't put a lot of energy into it, and overthrew his receiver. I'm not sure he was sold out on what he needed to do.
And now you look at the other side of the field. Callan Farr, the Cougars' top receiver, right now matched up against Andres Flores-Perry, arguably the best defensive back the Tigers have in the secondary. 3rd and 5, Gomez on the keeper, up the gut, bouncing left, and he is lassoed down to the 30-yard line. Crashing in was Liam Dahl, senior defensive lineman. Had the stop at the 30 and brings up 4th down.
You got to go for it, don't you?
I would think so because we were just talking about it.
You're not going to make a field goal.
The defense is having a hard time getting stops, so the offense is going to have to score, it seems like, every possession from here on out. Hope the defense can muster up at least a stop or 2, and the offense will stay out there. 4th and 3 from the 30. Gomez gonna run it up the gut. Gomez has got it. First down right at the sticks. He got it by a foot at the 27.
Good spots from both the line judge and the head linesman on the other side of the field.
So Canyon comes out after the big return by Jarrett, and the first 4 plays of the possession so far, all involving Gomez. 3 runs and an incomplete pass. Surprised we didn't see any runs for Jarrett.
Yeah, I almost wondered why that wasn't a handoff to Jarrett that time, since he hadn't touched the ball.
And now we see Williford in the backfield alongside Gomez here on first down from the 27. In Tiger territory, Cougars down 13 with 9:28 to go in the third. Gomez throws towards the end zone for Garcia, and the pass is broken up by Garrett Betts towards that short right corner of the end zone. And again, Betts has a lot of size there in Garcia. Tough matchup for the Cougars to win. Brings up 2nd and 10.
All of a sudden, Garcia's been the go-to receiver, at least of who they're throwing to, and Betts was on far the whole first half.
It feels like that Gomez is favoring the short side of the field, but then you say to yourself, well, why not flip the two? And now you see that. And now they send Garcia to the wide side and far to the near side. 2nd and 10 for the 27. Gomez takes a shotgun snap, design keeper for the quarterback. Bouncing left, sheds 1 tackle, not a second. No gain to the 27. Outside that left hash. And Dripping Springs has put Canyon into a tough spot here, 3rd and 10 now.
It looks to me on every pass play, Farr is now going out, using outside leverage on the defensive back. It seems to me with the way the linebackers are tucked inside, if he just does a quick slant and Gomez can see him, it looks like that's a quick 5, 6, 7, maybe a break a tackle, big gain. But they haven't looked at that at all.
And now 3rd and 10. With 8:35 to go in the third. Canyon down 48-35 from the Dripping Springs 27. Pass to the right side, caught by Garcia. Spins it of a tackle, sidesteps Betts, and is dropped inside the 10 at the 9. That time the Cougars caught the Tigers in zone coverage, and Gomez made a great throw. Gain of 18 yards, longest completion tonight. Garcia now 2 catches for 31 yards.
We've seen Garcia again make a nice adjustment to the ball, beat the defensive back, come back and get it quickly, and then avoided a couple of tacklers for an extra couple of yards.
Now goal to go from the 9-yard line. Canyon's offense was clicking early, 28 first quarter points to 7 since then. Jarrett back in the backfield. See if his number is called here. It is. Running play up the middle. Jarrett spun down to the 4. On the stop there, Brock Bollinger for the Tigers' 2nd and goal.
Did you see Jarrett move before the snap?
I didn't. Did you see that? I didn't catch that.
Jarrett took a half a step to his left, getting ready to run before the snap, and they didn't throw the flag.
Again, Canyon penalized heavily in the first half. 12 flags administered to the Cougars in the first half for 116 yards. 2nd and goal from the 4 now, and Jarrett stays in the formation. Gomez throws end zone way too high for Garcia. No chance to make a play. Betts uncovered, sets up 3rd and goal from the 5.
Bollinger got some pressure on him, but I still think he got rid of it without the pressure and just made a bad throw.
Again, Garcia's a good route runner, yes, but when the field condenses against the bigger cornerback there and Betts, going to be really tough for him to win that matchup when you can't stretch the field. 3rd and goal in what is likely 4-down territory for Canyon. Snap to Gomez, not sure if he's ready for it. Hands off to Jarrett, powers his way to the 3. Only gains a yard there, and now 4th and goal coming up.
Offensive line didn't get the surge. Are we going to kick a field goal here?
And they will send out the field goal unit, yes.
First, just like an extra point.
A 20-yard attempt here for Cameron Welch. This will mark just his 2nd attempt of the season. 0 for 1 so far, kicking field goals. Welch has made good in all PATs so far tonight. Here is the set, and the kick is a line drive, but it is good. And Welch has made it a 10-point game. 6:35 to go, 3rd quarter. Dripping Springs 48, Canyon 38 on the Cougars Network.
The all-new Nissan and New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan and New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
10-play, 60-yard drive for Canyon, ending on a 20-yard field goal from Cameron Welch. Cuts into the Dripping Springs lead. Now the Tigers on top of the Cougars, 48-38, 6:35 to go, third quarter.
And again, now you got some points on the board. Not the 7 that you want, but you got 3. You're within 2 scores still, 10 points. Now you've got to get a stop. Now you've got to knock them off their roll, as they haven't been stopped yet.
Saw the Cougars catch the Tigers by surprise in the first half on an onside kick. And Dripping Springs wary of that as Welch comes out to kick off. Canyon's defense needs a stop at some point in this game. They have yet to get one tonight. Short kickoff, fair catch called for, made at the 24-yard line by Carter King. The only stop Canyon's defense has in the game was courtesy of the clock ending the second quarter on Dripping Springs' last first half possession. Their sophomore quarterback, Preston Alford, has been on point tonight. So far, passing the football, 13 of 14 for 194 yards on first down. Alford hands off here to Tyler Heron. His first carry is only good for a yard of the 26. Going to bring up 2nd and 9.
First time going off tackle that the linebacker has come up and made a play.
You look out there right now in the backfield, and again, Heron is a tailback. No sign of Curtis Cox.
No.
Interesting here for Dripping Springs. Cox, a big night. 2 rushing touchdowns, 143 yards on the ground. Here is the quarterback, Alford, spins to the 28 for 2. And this, one of the rare 3rd and longs that the Tigers have been faced with all night.
They've made successful passing efforts in each 3rd down so far. A couple of runs, really, defense made good plays to slow them down and then make good tackles.
3rd and 7, 4 receivers for the sophomore quarterback from a zone 28. Alford back to throw. Great protection. Throws a dart over the middle, and it's caught at the 42-yard line. First down for the Tigers, gain of 14 yards. Pass hauled in by who else? O'Bannon, and there was far too much time for Alford to get that away. On first down, running play, Heron finds a cutback lane, midfield and more, stumbles inside the 40. And they're going to say he was marked down to the 38-yard line. 21 more yards on the ground there for Dripping Springs.
He got tripped up by the turf.
If he hadn't been, he might still be running. Heron gets his number called again. Runs to his right and tracked down to the 38 for a couple yards. But right now, Tony, the line of scrimmage just owned by Dripping Springs offensive line. Canyon's defensive front 7 is not getting any pressure, and there are far too many rush lanes for the Tigers to run through.
For the most part, Alford gets rid of the ball in a hurry, but when he does have to take a 2-second or a 2.5-second pass pattern, he has the time to do that, and that's what's frustrating.
2nd and 8. Back to throw is Alford. Got a man down the sideline. The catch inside the 15, and he's going to jog into the end zone for the touchdown. Alford's 2nd touchdown pass tonight. A wide open receiver down the field. And out for the PAT, Chapman. And it's like a bot snap, and the holder's going to roll out and throw into traffic, and it's batted down. Incomplete, and it remains a 54-38 lead for Dripping Springs. 4:27 to go in the third quarter on the Cougars Network.
Still two scores.
It is still a two-score game. Technically, 54-38 is the Dripping Springs lead. 4:27 to go here in the third quarter. Again, Dripping Springs' offense was kind of stuck in the mud the first two games. 14 points in a win over Kerrville-Tybee, 21 points in a loss to Hayes last week. Tonight it is awoken from its slumber. 54 points on the board. The sophomore quarterback, Preston Alford, had 8 completions and 20 attempts in the first two games. Tonight, he is 15 of 16 passing, 2 touchdowns. Ensuing kickoff taken at the 5. Returner for the Cougars across the 15 to the 20 and stopped short of the 30 as a flag flies in at the 20-yard line. Well away from the play. Line judge made the call. We'll check the mark.
On the opposite sideline. Wow.
By the way, Alford in the third quarter alone, 3 of 3 passing for 87 yards. And he is inching closer and closer towards a 300-yard night through the air. As we wait the call on the penalty, a lot of penalties in the first half. 2 teams combined for 15, the majority of which belong to the Cougars. They committed 12. This would be the first accepted penalty of the second half.
You have a flag on the opposite numbers behind the play, which went to the other sideline. What on earth would he have seen over here?
I was going to guess a sideline warning, but it is a hold against Canyon.
Block in the back, illegal block in the back. I am. He saw that from 50 yards away.
Mm-hmm. That is the 5th different 15-yard penalty against Canyon tonight. 4:20 left, third quarter. The Cougars offensively again, no room for error as the defense has struggled to get stops. Gomez in the offense led a field goal drive out there the last time with the football. On first down for their own 15, Gomez facing a 3-man rush is pressured, throws the ball into the turf, incomplete to the 22. In the area for the Cougars saw both Grebon and Williford in the area, 2nd and 10.
Kind of curious, we've gone empty backfield with 5 receivers, and yet he still doesn't have time to throw. So if they don't have someone in there to chip one of those ends as he rolls, it's going to be hard to find him time to get a pass off.
Canyon staring down the barrel of an 0-3 start with district play looming next week. A chance tonight to build some momentum. But a lot of ground to make up right now, trailing by 16 on 2nd and 10. Gomez hands off to Williford, I beg your pardon, on that carry. Good for a few to the 17. It's a 2-yard gain. It was Jarrett, I beg your pardon. And now 3rd and 8.
So there's a running back in there and you run the ball. It's kind of curious as to the confusion you're trying to create as an offensive coordinator, an offensive coach to get them guessing about what you've been doing, and they need a play now.
3rd and 7. Gomez at a passing down. Look at a throw going deep for Garcia. Justin makes a phenomenal catch. Just shy of the 45 of the 44. Again, the wind's swirling here at Cougar Stadium. Garcia, like a center fielder, had to track down the football and made the catch as he was falling down. First down, Canyon.
Unbelievable reception.
Good for a gain of 27 yards.
Garcia is just able to adjust to the ball on every occasion.
Now 3 catches for Garcia. And good for 58 yards. First down for the 45. Approaching 3 minutes to go in the third. Cougars down 16. Pass near sideline for Garcia. And again try to adjust the ball, but the pass was knocked away by Betts. Second and 10.
Betts has been remarkable tonight, that he has been able to go up and just, I guess, read Garcia's eyes, and when he puts his hands up, that time he just knocked it away, or Garcia would have made another spectacular catch.
And again, we see a case here of Garcia and Farr flipping sides of the field. Now you have Farr lined up against Betts and Garcia opposite side of the field on the wide side against Flores Perry. Second and 10 for the 45. Looking Farr's way. Pass too high, though, at midfield. Incomplete. Brings up third and 10.
Farr just runs a stop route about 5 yards down the field, and Gomez just missed him.
Dallas Gomez threw 37 passes last week, up to 15 attempts tonight. If you're the Cougars, you don't want to panic necessarily here, but is this 4-down territory? Close to it.
I don't know how it can't be when you're down 2 scores and two-point extra points.
On third and 10, Gomez throws right, and it's a catch. At the 40-yard line, Grebon's got it. Finally wrestled down to the Tiger 36-yard line. First catch tonight for Luke Grebon.
Big first down.
19-yard pickup there for the Cougars. 6 pass completion tonight for Gomez.
Seem to have more success against Flores Perry than they have against Betts tonight.
First down for the 35. Run play, Jarrett looking for a lane, and the Tigers won't give him one. 3 defenders right there on the tackle. At the point of attack at the 35 for no gain as we inch closer to 2 minutes to go in the third. And the Cougars down 54-38. Here's the thing, too, Tony. If you're Canyon here and the offense, you have to know that 54 points won't be enough to win this game.
Right.
So, again, the offense pretty much has to play flawless from here on out.
That offensive line has to get some surge.
Second and 10. Gomez. Hands off. Jarrett up the gut. Wrestled down for no gain again. Good tackle by Jacob Joy, third and 10.
You know what their defensive line is doing more slants to get in the gaps, and really what Jarrett read off of first half mostly was going down the line on those off-tackle plays and finding the lane to get through. Right now they're stuffing those lanes with the slants, and there's just not a whole lot of room to run at all.
Workhorse effort tonight for Jarrett, now 17 carries for the Cougars. Good for 132 yards. Third and 10 now for the 35 of what should be 4-down territory for Canyon. Gomez looking back at the sidelines, might be confused by the play call, and that will lead to a timeout from Coach Lepsis.
It's not the first time tonight he's looked back to the bench late in the play clock like he's not sure what the play is. And the second time tonight that Coach Lepsis has had to call a timeout as the play clock is winding down.
Again, this is kind of a rebuilding project for Coach Lepsis. Canyon is coming off 5 straight losing seasons. They have suffered 8 such campaigns in the last 11 years. No postseason for the Cougars since 2013. But Coach Lepsis did build a program literally from the ground up in Wiley East and Abilene. 8 years as their head coach, won 51 games, highlighted by a couple of region semifinal appearances, including in 2016, trying to get the Cougars back on track as a program. But again, really tough district. The Cougars are getting ready to face. That part of the schedule starts next week.
So 3rd and 10. It's got to be 4-down territory now, for sure.
Which means on 3rd down here, you don't necessarily have to throw the ball. You can run it here if you want from Jarrett, make 4th down manageable.
But you've got to find a running play where you can have some room to run. Right now, they're not having a lot of success either side.
3rd and 10 from the 35. Gomez on the rollout, looking to throws, and the pass is intercepted by Betts. Taking it back to the 30-yard line and tackled. They'll mark him at the 29. Gomez threw 3 picks last week. His first tonight gives the Tigers a football at their own 29, nursing a 16-point lead.
And you'd have to say, as the clock now nearing the end of the 3rd quarter and the time seems to be moving much more quickly here in the second half, that this is a drive that cannot result in a touchdown for Dripping Springs if you want to win the football game for a Cougar.
Canyon, second turnover tonight. They committed 4 last week. Tigers with the ball with 61 seconds to go in the 3rd and in control of this game. 54-38. The offense has not punted the ball. They have not turned it over tonight. First down, Heron on the run. 30-35, stumbles to the 37-yard line. So Tyler Heron stays in the game. Curtis Cox is still out. Don't know why that is. But Heron has run well in his place. There picks up 7 yards, 2nd and 3.
As good as Cox was running, you have to believe that he's nicked up somehow, some way, and they're just protecting him at this point.
This next play, if it's on the ground, should be the final one of the 3rd quarter here. And the Tigers, at one point, were down by 8. 24-point turnaround for Dripping Springs. Heron, no. Play fake for Cox, and the pass over the middle is dropped. Little behind the receiver, O'Bannon. And that'll stop the clock with 15 seconds to go in the 3rd.
First time tonight we've seen him really off target on a play, as that one was back behind O'Bannon's hip. A tough catch if he makes it, but he didn't, and it goes incomplete.
This is second misfire, and the first true misfire by the quarterback, Alford. The only other incompletion on a spike ball late in the first half. On 3rd and 3, Alford to the keeper, up the middle to the 40. He's got the first down, and down to the 46. Gain of 9 yards. That'll move the sticks and should end the 3rd quarter as well. And it will do just that. So Dripping Springs will take a 16-point lead into the final quarter of non-district play. Your score at the end of 3, Dripping Springs 54, Canyon 38 on the Cougars Network. We're back in a moment.
Do you know what's perfect? Wick Productions teaming up with the Canyon Cougars. No kidding. We take pause when we hear you cheer for replays on the scoreboard. And we love the feline we get when you visit CougarsNetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Meow. Isn't that right? What? Cat got your tongue? I mew it.
A game that kicked off more than 2.5 hours ago still has a quarter to play. We had a nearly 1 hour first quarter. Since then, the game has slowed down, not exactly to a screeching halt, as it has still been very much a high-scoring affair, but it is the Tigers in control on top, 54-38 as we start the 4th quarter. And it's Dripping Springs football, first down to the Canyon 45-yard line. Still no sign of Curtis Cox in the backfield, but the Tigers on offense still looking pretty good in his absence. Alford on first down, pump fake, now takes off to run, 45, and trying to fight for the midfield stripe is slung down short of it at the 48 for about 3. He'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Kind of frustrating when your 3-man rush gets some pressure on the quarterback, and then your linebackers who are waiting for that to happen can't get there to make the tackle. finally did after a short gain, but it seemed like Alford ran a long way to get those 3 yards.
Canyon's room for error right now is at 0.
Yeah.
Offense, defense, any phase. On 2nd and 7,
Wow.
Heron breaks a tackle. Lunging forward, he's got the first down of the 44-yard line. That'll move the sticks. Last play was good for about 8 yards. First down for Dripping Springs. If you're Canyon's defense right now, not only do you need to stop, you need to find a way to force a turnover here. Get a play on defense, spark the team a bit. Because right now, nothing's working defensively for Canyon.
Well, you've got to think as a defensive unit that someone's got to step up and make a play. You know, knife through that offensive line and sack the quarterback, force a fumble, get him to throw a bad pass that can be picked, knock the ball loose on a running back.
Already 1 minute gone by in the fourth quarter, beg your pardon. First out for the Tigers, and Coach Zimmerman calls for a timeout. Got to tell you, offensive coordinator Al Pena calling a great game tonight for Dripping Springs. That offense, which was held at 21 points last week, has got 54 tonight. 19 more points scored tonight than the Tigers have scored all season through their first 2 games.
Elsewhere in the district, East Central has come back to tie up Alamo Heights at 28 with 4 minutes to go. San Marcos Steel Trails United High School 28-17 with 5 to go. New Braunfels is taking a 7-point lead after being tied up by Johnson at 21. They now lead 28-21 with 2 minutes to go. Reagan and Clemens are now tied with 1.5 minutes to go in that one. Elsewhere, Judson and Steele both won tonight. Smithson Valley won last night.
There was a stretch where Clemens was down because Steele was so up. And all the great athletes had been going to Steele in the Schertz area. But now Clemens is starting to get back to that place of being a very good football program.
Without a doubt.
Canyon will face Clemens on the road in week 7. First and 10 out of the timeout. Running play for the quarterback. Alford at the 35. He's still running inside the 30. Into the secondary, and the sophomores down to the 24. 20 more yards for the Tigers on the ground, and for the quarterback, Preston Alford.
Good deception on the motion and everything and the fake. Then he got 10 yards down the field and broke 2 more tackles and got 10 more. Just
methodical. First down for the 24. Alford looking to throw to his right, complete. Inside the 20 and to the 19-yard line. Catch hauled in by Ryan Kimball for the Tigers. And again, Alford tonight, 18 pass attempts, 16 completions.
Better pressure that time. The 3-man pressure got to him and bumped him on the throw, and good tackle after the catch for no gain after the catch.
Tigers in the red zone on the doorstep of a 60-point night. Low snap to Alford. Able to pick up the football, cuts his losses, and dropped at the 20 for a loss of a yard. Tackle for the Cougars made by Nick Albrecht, and now 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, bad snap. They've had a couple of those tonight. This one he overcame by picking it up and running forward. Again, defense has to make something happen here. They can't let them score again.
Tigers also bleeding some clock here. They've already taken nearly 3 minutes off the fourth quarter clock. 3rd and 6. Alford play fake, pressured.
There it is.
And Albrecht got him. A sack back at the 26, a loss of 6 yards, brings up 4th down.
I got to believe they're just going to go for it.
This would be a 43-yard attempt for Chapman. Don't know his range either. No field goals for him this season yet.
Here comes Cox.
And yes, Cox is back into the game.
Oh.
A lot of shifting of personnel here, though, and they're going to try this field goal attempt.
Huh.
A 43-yard attempt for Coleman Chapman, second team All-District a year ago. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and it had no chance. Line drive kick fell well short of the uprights. Hit the goal line, and the Cougars get a stop on defense. The first time they've done so tonight. And it comes with 8:34 to go in the fourth.
So a good stop by the defense. A nice play on the blitz. And Albrecht's sack kind of curious of why they went for the field goal. I'm surprised. Sure, they thought they had a chance, and with that kicker, they probably had a chance.
54-38. Dripping Springs on top. Cougars own the football, and the offense has got to respond here.
Need a touchdown.
Gomez from his own 26, empty backfield. The Tigers are showing a blitz, and they're going to bring 4. Gomez to the air, and it's incomplete. Closest receiver at around the 40-yard line was Hudson Ammons, and it sets up 2nd and 10.
Gomez looked confused, though. 2 of the receivers were open, the one short and the one on the outside, and he kind of threw it in between them. So not real sure what he expected, but not an answer there.
Actually, that was Garcia, the intended receiver there for Canyon. As we see Savion Jarrett come out of the game here on 2nd and 10. A drive for the Cougars that must end in 8. Dripping Springs showing a blitz. And they're going to bring it. Here's a swing pass, and it's dropped by Luke Grebon. Took his eyes upfield before hauling in the pass, and it brings up 3rd and 10.
Well, we've seen them do this all night. The defensive back on the slot receiver acts like he's going to blitz and steps inside and gives up leverage. This time the tight end, Grebon, just went up the field and didn't make the catch because he was open.
8:25 left before the start of district play. Can the Cougars muster a comeback and pick up a win before next week's Worst Bowl? 3rd and 10 for their own 26 following a defensive stop. 5 wide for Gomez, the junior quarterback. Gomez facing a blitz, throws to his left, and it's caught by Grebon. This time he holds on, and he's got the first down. Grebon, second catch tonight, picks up 19 yards. And that was the 20th pass attempt of the night for Gomez. Cougars again down 16, 54-38, 8:15 left in the 4th quarter. Need a touchdown drive and a 2-point conversion.
Great job by Grebon just to really box out the defensive back that time and make a catch. And then don't know if he was trying to get out of bounds, but he was sure trying to get some extra yards.
Callan Farr very quiet for the Cougars since the 1st quarter. Lines up wide left on 1st down. Gomez, hands off. Williford up the gut to the midfield logo for 6. Sets up 2nd and 4. Williford's first carry tonight.
Betts kind of looks back at Farr, who just ran a straight upfield route.
Don't know if you abandoned the run yet, but you're getting close to that mark right now.
Yeah, you've got to score, but not at the end of the clock.
2nd and 4. Gomez throws right, and he's got a man. On a 1st down, Grebon again to the Tiger 45. It's good for 5 more yards. And Gomez and Grebon perhaps developing some sort of rhythm right now. 1st down, Canyon.
Grebon's been that slot receiver on one side or the other, and he's just going out in the flat, and Gomez is reading that opportunity to see him open and get it to him quickly.
Well, so much attention right now is being paid to Garcia and Farr, so maybe Gomez right now is saying, well, maybe the best spot to work is Grebon. The defense is not as good on that side.
This time the defensive back stays straight up, though.
On 1st and 10 from the 44. Gomez on the quarterback keeper, and now backs up the throw, and the pass is incomplete. A little deception there by the Cougars, but the pass off target of the 30-yard line sets up 2nd and 10 and stops the clock with 6:38 to go.
I think that's a designed run that he just decided, since the defense read it so well, I'm going to look down the field, and he tried to hit Farr, but he was well covered.
Canyon 28 1st quarter points. We joked earlier, first team of 70 would win this game. Canyon's offense since then has slowed down. It's 10 points since that 1st quarter. On 2nd down and 10, Tigers bringing a blitz, and Gomez lost the football, and the Tigers jump on it. It was either a handoff or play action, but it was when the running back, Williford, went to go for the football that it came out of the hands of Gomez, jumped on by Dripping Springs, And that might do it tonight for Canyon.
Looked to me like Gomez might have just bobbled the snap even and gave it up right from the get-go. And in any event, it ends the last chance for the Cougars to really get the ball back in time to score twice, and they're not going to be able to do that now unless the defense can come up with a pick six.
3 turnovers for the Cougars, 2 in the second half. And on top of that, 13 penalties. And Tony and I said in the beginning of our broadcast tonight that the Cougars, too many mistakes to overcome last week. Same story here tonight. On first down, a running play for Heron, and he is slammed down to the 48-yard line. No gain. Good tackle out in space by Canyon's Robert Crandall. 2nd and 10.
So you'd guess they're going to keep the ball on the ground. Try to milk the clock the best they can. And use as much of the clock as they can. But that means they shouldn't snap it with the play clock still in the teens.
Oliver still at quarterback on 2nd and 9. It is a run play for Heron again to the Canyon 49-yard line for 3. And that will lead to a timeout by Coach Lepsis.
That time Heron ran right into Nick Albrecht. Didn't try to avoid him at all.
So barring a miraculous comeback by Canyon, Dripping Springs will take a 2-1 record at a District 12 5A play. And they will host Austin Travis in their district opener next week. A Tiger team which last year went 6-1 in district play, sharing the district crown. As Tony said earlier, and we went through some of the year-by-year records, the past couple seasons, several seasons, this has been a very good Dripping Springs football program. In the postseason each of the previous 3 years and some deep runs on top of that.
Well, when you're in your 5th season and you've won 37 games, you're doing something right. You are doing something right, and they've had a lot of success. It's a school that's had a lot of success athletically through the years.
It's an area that's really grown out there just outside of Austin.
Yeah, they've got a lot of very good fertile ground of athletes for sure.
A lot of housing development out there, commercial development as well. Dripping Springs has really grown. And athletics there has really been impressive across the board, not just football. 3rd down and 7 after the timeout, and the snap goes off the hands of the quarterback, and he throws the ball into the ground, and that threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, so that should be a fumble as the ball goes out at the sideline of the 30. Backup quarterback is in, by the way, Julian Wright for Dripping Springs. Flags all over the place on top of that. So a lot to sort out here.
Yeah, he threw the flag like it'd be intentional grounding. But I'm not sure that was a pass as much as it was a fumble.
It was a fumble.
So what's the flag for?
There are 2 flags. I assume these are for 2 different infractions. And we get the call. Illegal formation against Dripping Springs. The first flag. Intentional grounding is the second. A loss of down penalty against the Tigers. But again, the arm for the quarterback right wasn't going forward. It went backward. That should be a backwards pass. But
exactly, yeah, it's got to be a fumble because it's like a lateral because it's backwards.
Yep. Either way, stops the clock, 5:57 to go, and the Cougars will get the ball back in what is the Tigers' first punt of the game.
Don't think we'll see this officiating unit together in a big game anytime soon.
One returner back deep for the Cougars. And here's a punt. It may have been tipped. And it takes a Tiger roll inside the 40, picked up at the 37-yard line. Just a 25-yard punt, no return. 5:47 to go. Canyon down 54-38. So the defense there got off the field relatively quick. Can the offense piece together an explosive play here, quick drive, and keep this game still within reach?
I think your hope was you block that punt and maybe get a touchdown or a short field out of it was your hope. You still have to drive 60-plus yards here and do that in less than a couple of minutes.
The Cougars only have one timeout, so yes, there cannot be a 10-play, 3-minute drive here. They have to score quickly. From their own 37, Gomez with 5 wide, throws left, and it's batted away. Good defensive play made out in space by Luke Lawyer, who has made a few plays in this game. 2nd and 10 now.
He has one of their leading tacklers, 11 tackles, a sack and a tackle for loss on the season coming into tonight. We've called his name a bunch.
Again, had a big defensive play last week, a 40-yard pick six in the loss against Hayes. 2nd and 10 now from the 37. Gomez on the keeper, right up the middle, and he is sent down at the 40-yard line, make it to 39. Tackle made by Jacob Joy, first-team All-District linebacker a year ago, maybe on his way to earning All-District honors again this year. 3rd down and 8 following a gain of 2. Gomez to the air, near the sideline for far and overthrew everybody. Incomplete, defended by Betts, brings up 4th and 8.
You can see the frustration in Farr. That time as the ball went up in the air, Betts just put 2 hands on him and kind of held him from running up to the field, and Farr's looking like, why is that not a penalty?
And the Cougars, despite being down 2 possessions here with 5:18 to go, will punt the ball away.
I don't think you have a choice, really, at this point. Your offense hasn't generated a whole lot of momentum to think you can get it and not give them a short field.
Welch's punt. Sails out of bounds. Let's see where they mark this out. Line judge is walking to the sidelines. He's stopping.
Well, he's got no one marking him.
Across the 30, still walking the 35-yard line. 5:10 to go. 4th quarter. Dripping Springs on top, 54-38. So again, Tony, next week marks the start of 26-6A play. And you look at the Blue Bloods in there. Judson, Steele, Smithson Valley. So if you were to assume those 3 are in, who's the 4th that makes the postseason?
Well, I think Clemens has to be in that conversation as much as Smithson Valley at this point after last year. And then you look at someone like New Braunfels is the one that was fighting for that spot last year. They have a chance to make noise at the end of the year as they get at the end of the year. Well, I don't have their schedule right in front of me, but they get some big bloods down at the end of the year.
First down play is a loss for the Tigers. The Cougars take down the backup quarterback, Julian Wright, as the night is done tonight for Preston Alford. A loss back to the 30-yard line of 5 yards brings up 2nd and 15. And you also think about East Central. You know, the Hornets improved program a year ago. Can they make life difficult for teams and maybe put themselves into the playoff conversation?
Yeah, they're a team that struggled a little bit here at the start, and we'd have to see how they're going to progress as they go ahead.
2nd and 15. Wright with the handoff to Heron. To his left for a couple to the 32-yard line to bring up 3rd down and 13. Now, then you also have San Marcos as Coach Lepsis takes his 3rd and final timeout. San Marcos, a team that joined the district a year ago, and they're having a rough start to their season.
East Central defeats Alamo Heights 35-28. Clemens loses at home to Reagan 35-28. New Braunfels wins at home over Johnson 28-21. And we know Steele won and Judson won. East Central comes back and beats Alamo Heights. So the only games going on right now is this one. And San Marcos, who's narrowed their deficit to United 28-23 with 2.5 to go.
You referenced, by the way, Clemens, should they be taking the place of Smithson Valley as a, quote, lock for the postseason? Those two meet each other in the 26-6A opener next week.
That'll be a telltale for either one. The one that wins has a leg up for sure. Like we saw, was it a year ago when we played East Central, who got off to a hot start? You beat them early in the race, and then you've got a head up on them.
After the timeout, 3rd and 13 for Dripping Springs, the Tigers of the ball on a 16-point lead from their own 32. Right back to throw. Right escapes pressure, takes off. 40-45, midfield and a first down. Just inside of midfield, and that will move the chains for Dripping Springs.
So you got him pinned back there, and you've got a chance to force a fourth down punt. And he breaks containment.
And actually, the Tigers brought back in Alford for that play. So no surprise there, Alford the one that picks up the first down. And now the snap gets over Alford's head, picks it up and slides down to the 36, or the 39-yard line rather. That's a loss of more than 10 yards there for the Tigers. But right now, all they care about is taking off time from the clock, nursing the 16-point lead.
So Alford's going to stay out on the field. They want no more of that.
You think about the adjustments in this game that Dripping Springs made, specifically, Tony, on defense. Canyon's offense did anything it wanted to do early. But defensively, the Tigers turned things around. Defensive coordinator Chris King, again, did a lot of readjustment, and it's worked for Dripping Springs.
Without a doubt.
Second and long, running play to the left for the Tigers for Heron for no gain. Brings up 3rd and 21.
So they'll be able to snap this one around 2.5 minutes to go if they punt. That would happen sometime under 2 minutes to go. The Cougars will get one more possession if they can force the punt here and have about less than 2 minutes before they or less than 2 minutes of time to put that drive together. We'll see what they choose to do at that point.
3rd and 21. I look for the keeper here for the quarterback. But instead, Alford does hand off to Heron. Safe play call there. Will take off another 40 seconds off the clock. So the Cougars will get it back inside of 2 minutes to go. And down by 16 on their way to an 0-3 start with rival New Braunfels awaiting next week. A Unicorn team which will be 2-1 going into 26-6A play.
Yes. That one over at Unicorn Stadium next Friday night. The Worst Bowl.
Actually, a big part of New Braunfels, I believe, is 3-0. They beat Alamo Heights in the opener, a win over Seguin last week, and they beat Johnson tonight. So
they are.
New Braunfels, 3-0.
3-0.
Here's the punt, and it's going to die at the 30-yard line. It's going to go down as a 30-yard punt, no return. $1:52 left in non-district play. Can Canyon's offense pick up one more scoring drive and build some momentum going into the rivalry game, the Worst Bowl, against the Unicorns next week? The Canyon's been really close in these games in terms of turning that proverbial corner. Had a lead against Lehman, couldn't hold on. Did some great things down the stretch trying to come back last week, but couldn't overcome the mistakes. Tonight, explosive offensively, couldn't get stops on defense. If the Cougars can play a complete game, they've got something here. First down for the 30. Gomez to the air, and he's got a receiver, Grebon, who makes a catch at his ankles, and he's got it to the 47 for a gain of 17.
They're going to give it to him, but he touched his knee on the ground when he caught it, and they spotted it but then ignored it.
The biggest thing for the Cougars is that they can't beat themselves, especially in 26-6A. The opponents are too good. Here's a pass in traffic, picked off. 4th Canyon turnover tonight, and the returner, Andres Flores-Perry, takes it up to the 40-yard line. Back-to-back weeks, the Cougars have committed 4 turnovers. On top of that, 16 penalties last week, 13 tonight. And again, if it's not good enough to beat Dripping Springs or Georgetown Eastview, that's not going to be good enough to beat Judson or Steele either.
Well, and all those penalties were really in that first half. I mean, the majority of them, a big majority of them in the first half.
All but one.
Second half, they really hadn't fought penalties. They just haven't had the success on offense.
But then 3 turnovers in the second half of the offense. With Gomez throwing now 2 interceptions and also a lost fumble by the junior quarterback. And so the Tigers can kneel on it and wrap this one up. First kneel down is taken. And there should only be one more needed in this game. And again, the Canyon Cougars can't get too down on themselves after losing this one because New Braunfels looms 7 nights from now. After that, Smithson Valley. The schedule only getting harder from here.
Right. Well, it's because you're getting into district and you're playing in one of the toughest districts in the state.
And the, quote, easiest game the Cougars will have in 26-6A play is San Marcos. That will not come until the season finale.
Right.
Second down, kneel down taken, and we'll need one more play in this game. About a 5-second difference between the game clock and the play clock. Gomez, though, some big plays with his feet on the ground to include a 74-yard run. Jarrett over 100 yards rushing, 2 scores for the Cougars. But the miscues not enough to overcome for the Cougars for the second week in a row. As Dripping Springs puts up 54, and they win this final non-district game of the regular season for both teams. Final score tonight from Cougar Stadium, Dripping Springs 54, Canyon 38. Tony, any final thoughts?
I think the Cougars have a lot of things going for them, but consistency isn't one of them, and that's obviously an uphill battle that Coach Lepsis and this staff have to overcome because they haven't been able to put both sides of the game together yet this season, and they're still looking for that first win.
Well, that's going to do it for our coverage here from Cougar Stadium. Thanks to our entire Cougars Network crew. On behalf of Tony Brubaker, I'm Brant Freeman, saying once again the final score, Dripping Springs 54, Canyon 38. Good night from New Braunfels.